300 yards, he was deadly on the run, making him a double threat to any D. Pringle, meanwhile, led the CFL in rushing with over 1,700 yards. After taking their act to Montreal for a year, Ham called it quits, only to come out of retirement shortly after. And he hasn't missed a beat, leading the Owls to a 2-0 start. Meanwhile, his top running back leads the CFL in touchdowns and is second in rushing. Now Ham and Pringle are rushing to feast on the struggling Stampeders and go to 3-0. Coming up next. From Olympic Stadium in Montreal, it's the Calgary Stampeders and the Montreal Alouettes on CFL Live. Surfers, you know we are live and interactive here at TSN, and you can play QB1 throughout this game. Hi, and welcome to CFL Live and the start of Week 3. A busy week it will be for us here at TSN. We'll have 4 games, all 8 teams for you, beginning tonight with a little interdivision play for the first time this season. The 0-2 Calgary Stampeders against the 2-0 Montreal Alouettes. You know the panel. The coach, Bob Obilovich, who I have a feeling is taking Calgary tonight, looking dapper. Les Brown, who was a guest coach in training camp for the Alouettes. Marty York will get his pick in a second. Marty York of the Globe and Mail. You know, it is a surprise to see the start for these two teams. A year ago, Calgary went into Montreal and won by 40 points. This time, I don't think so. Let's head to John Wells and Glenn Sutter.
Rod, the Calgary Stampeders are in unfamiliar territory, having lost their first 2 games of the 1997 season. This is not what Calgary is used to, and they feel they should have won both those football games.
They really do, and you could argue that they should have. I mean, both games they were pretty dominant, and as a matter of fact, they had the lead for 117 minutes and 55 seconds in those games. It was those 2 minutes that got them, though, losing both games by just 1 point.
Mark McLaughlin had the opportunity to win in BC, and this doesn't happen to him often.
It sure doesn't, and he's off to a slow start. But this has been the story for the Calgary Stampeders this year. Missed opportunities, whether it be a missed field goal, a dropped interception, or a penalty that stops a drive. It's been happening to Calgary in 2 games.
On the other side of the coin, the Montreal Alouettes have taken advantage of most of their opportunities. Ham and Pringle have been brilliant. They have run the ball very effectively.
Oh, they really have. I mean, Tracy Ham looks like the Tracy Ham of old running the football, and Mike Pringle, of course, he's doing what he does best, 198 yards already in 2 games, and together they're averaging 175 yards rushing per game, which is, of course, #1 in the CFL.
And last week against Winnipeg, Terry Baker took advantage of his opportunity and kicked the only game-winning field goal of his career. Something special.
That's amazing that, you know, in 11 years, he's only had 1 game winner, but it was a big one, and that's been the difference for these 2 teams, making the play down the stretch. John, you hear about it all the time. The game comes down to 1 or 2 plays. If you make those plays, you win. Montreal has, and Calgary hasn't.
Rod, no doubt about it. The heat will be on the Calgary sideline with head coach Wally Buono over there at Olympic Stadium all night long.
All right, thank you, guys. And it is one of the surprises of the CFL season so far that Calgary is 0-2. But you talk, Obi, about their production. What is most surprising is the lack of it, especially in the dying minutes of the game.
Well, you heard what Glenn Sutter said. In the 4th quarter, Calgary's been outscored 29-0, and that explains it in a nutshell. Their veteran players are going to have to step to the front tonight and show some leadership and get them pumped up and get them on the win side of the column. And I look for the matchup between the best run defense in the league against the best rushing team in the league to decide the outcome of this football game.
And, Coach, on the other sidelines, in Montreal's locker room, they have been leading big against Hamilton. beating them big by 14 and then letting Hamilton come back to give them a scare. In Winnipeg, in Game 2, they were beating them by 14 and let Winnipeg to come back and tie the game and even take a 3-point lead on them, and then they had to fight back to win that one in the last dying seconds. I got a feeling this team has to play 60 minutes tonight to win this game under a team that's going to be very hungry like Calgary.
Well, like the Alouettes, Marty York was off to a perfect start. He went 4-0 before finally suffering his first defeat. That was at Taylor Field, and you've lost another one since. So slumping a bit to 4-2. Tonight, though, who do you like, and what's the spread?
Thanks for mentioning that, by the way. Rod, tonight Las Vegas is favoring Montreal by 3 points, and I think it's pretty simple to understand why. The Owls have won both of their games. The Stamps have lost both of theirs. The Owls are on a high, and the Stamps are on a low. The Owls are tied for first in the East. The Stamps are last in the West. The Owls have Tracy Ham as confident as ever. The Stamps have Jeff Garcia unsure of himself and looking over his shoulder at backup Dave Dickinson. The Owls have Mike Pringle and Chris Wright. The Stamps don't have Alan Pitts and Dave Sapunjas anymore. The Owls will win this game, and they'll cover the spread, and the Stamps will drop to 0-3.
Hard to think of a Stampeder team of the 90s going to 0-3. Distinct possibility against a very good Alouette team. Was 0-3 to start last year, but looking to go 3-0. We'll have the opening kickoff from the Big O right after this.
Excuse me, would you like to make a long-distance call?
CFL Live from Montreal, the unbeaten Alouettes against the winless Stampeders. It's game 1 of week 3. Sid?
Wally Bono off to a worst start ever as the Calgary head coach. 0-2. Feels like he should have won both those games. And you know what? I think he has a pretty good argument. Last time he was here in Montreal last year, he blew out. Montreal is hoping for a lot of the same.
Dave Ritchie responsible for the Alouettes' quick start. Second time around as a CFL head coach. And he's back in the city where he began in this league in 1983. Ready for the kickoff, second home game of the season for the Montreal Alouettes. And the Owls will kick off with Terry Baker ready to tee it up and send it down for Marvin Coleman. Or Kelvin Anderson. We're underway at Olympic Stadium, Montreal. Anderson ready to return for the Calgary Stampeders. And he gets a pretty good run up near the 40-yard line. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Midas. Calgary quarterback Jeff Garcia back off a solid showing despite a loss to British Columbia. All 4 receivers in his lineup have shared the workload rather evenly through the first 2 games. And the 96 Rookie of the Year, Kelvin Anderson, is looking for more running time. Up front, the big guy is Fred Childress, and he'll flop sides as the Stampeders roll along against Montreal tonight. 1st and 10 for Garcia. And the Alouettes, Garcia buys a little time and look for Vince Danielson too far.
What will Jeff Garcia be up against tonight? The Montreal Alouette defense. Well, up front, the newcomer is Tom Heps from Toronto. In the backfield, it's Larry McSeed replacing the injured Jason Bryant. And in the back end, Irv Smith, the former All-Canadian, leads the secondary. Anthony Drawhorn will play safety, replacing Spencer McClellan.
It'll be 2nd and 10. Stampeders at the 40-yard line. Garcia missed Danielson on his first pass of the night. From the shotgun, he's on target this time, short of the first down to Terry Vaughn, who's surrounded by 3 Alouettes. And we'll see where they spot the football as Vaughn found himself out near the 50-yard line. It'll depend where they put her down this time.
Well, it's interesting to see the way Calgary is starting out. They're coming out gunning, throwing on first down. They're coming right back, throwing on second down. They're not going to hold anything back. They want to get some momentum early.
And it looks to me like they're gambling on 3rd down, less than a yard to go. That's the call from the sidelines as the Stampeders go gunning for 3rd and inches. They have to get across the 50-yard line. Garcia safely done. And no markers anywhere. It'll be a first down, Stampeders. Calgary has actually started fairly impressively in the 2 games that they have lost. They had a pretty good drive against the Eskimos and had the lead, as we talked about, against the BC Lions last week.
Well, yeah, especially Wally Bono was happy with Jeff Garcia's play, especially last week versus the BC Lions when he threw for about 355 yards and a touchdown. Really had a good game, but like he said, we're not getting it in the end zone when we need to.
1st and 10, Calgary, just across the 50. Swing pass for Kelvin Anderson, well read by the Montreal Alouettes. Randolph is there, number 36, to help out with the tackler.
Calvin Anderson's off to a good sophomore season. He's 30 for 124 yards rushing so far this year and 1 touchdown. And he's averaging about 4.1, which is what he did last year. And, of course, well documented last year, he was the Rookie of the Year.
And over 1,000 yards rushing in his CFL debut, averaging 4.5 yards a carry. And he picked up 10 touchdowns. Second and almost 10. And Garcia missed his target. Looked like he was gunning for Travis Moore that time.
Yeah, and he was good. He's yelling at Moore, telling him that I had you and I saw you open, but that ball was deflected at the line of scrimmage, and really not a lot that Jeff Garcia could do about it.
So Martino is in on 3rd down. Nice punting average for Martino. That 67-yarder helps.
Really is. I mean, his career average is 41.1, so he's well above that.
Chris Wright awaits for Montreal back near his 10-yard line.
Another good one.
Wright chased back almost to the 5. In fact, he's behind it and right back to the goal line and barely got out. He misjudged that a little bit, and so the Alouettes will start deep in their own zone after a 51-yard Martino bomb. How about another Martino?
Well, that was quite the punt. Pinned Montreal right down to their own 1-yard line. Well, 1 3/4 yard line.
1 3/4 yard line. And that's where the Alouettes will begin. Very nearly a safety touch, as you pointed out, as Wright went back into the end zone and just barely made it out with his knees across the line. Here's Tracy Ham beginning at the 1.5 line. Ham has it almost picked off by Marvin Coleman. And that would have been an easy 6. Tracy Ham has had a hot hand in 2 weeks. He's passed well and run very effectively with 4 solid receivers. Climby and Armstrong get most of the work. And then there's that great tandem in the backfield, the 2 Michaels, Souls and Pringle. And 1 change up front with Chu playing at right guard. Ham on 2nd and 10 as a receiver has a 1st down.
Marcus Wall is going to play for Chris Wright a little bit at the wide receiver position. Chris Wright, a bit of a project as a receiver. We all know what he can do as a running back, but Marcus Wall is just going to find the soft spot in the zone. Right now, Calgary's playing a cover 3. That's 3 people deep. You see Marvin Coleman deep. Kenton Leonard has to try and get out there to the flat and can't get there in time.
This is Pringle's first carry of the evening. And there's not much off left tackle that time for Mike Pringle.
Well, Wally Buono would like to get a little more consistent pass rush out of his front 4, the Calgary Stampeders, and there's some newcomers up there with Ernie Brown, Jeff Traversy, and Dwayne Patterson starting now. Of course, Marvin Pope is the veteran. Linebacking core the same, led by Alondra Johnson, and 1 change in the secondary. William Hampton replaces Al Jordan, who is out for at least 1 or 2 weeks.
And that could be a critical area. Rookie starting on the corner. This is 2nd and 8. Stands in and almost had it picked off that time.
Tell you, this is we talked about in the opening, John, the missed opportunities by the Calgary Stampeders, and they've had 2 so far tonight. Marvin Coleman on the first play of this series should have intercepted that pass and taken it in for a touchdown and dropped it. And now you see Eddie Davis do exactly the same thing. Now, early in the game, you say, well, it doesn't matter much. Montreal's got to punt the ball again anyway. But this is going to be a ton of field position lost by the Calgary Stampeders and balls that should have been caught.
Terry Baker standing at his own 10. Got a bit of a charge, and it's not deep. Coleman on 1 hop. Gets through the first wave. Marvin Coleman still going, has Baker to beat. And Baker slowed him down. He was caught from behind by Michael Souls. Didn't see any markers down. Oh, hang on, there's one near the 45. We'll check out that infraction.
Marvin Coleman wants to be the first to hear it. Now, did I do all that running for nothing?
Illegal block. Calgary number 21. 1st down.
Jake Ireland beginning his 19th CFL season.
Well, William Hampton got caught on the illegal block. Here comes Marvin Coleman. Ball's bouncing around. He picks it up and takes off with it. You see the clip right there to the right of your screen. That was William Hampton. And when you see those back numbers, and a big hit there on the corner of the screen, when you see those back numbers, you have to let them go.
Baker actually did make a play on this tackle.
William Hampton is right in that area right there, and he was the one who got the clipping call.
So the Stampeders begin back at the 34 as a result. Garcia keeps it on the ground. Calvin Anderson got the call. Anderson averaging 4.1 yards a carry so far in 97.
Which for most of the running backs is about a yard less when you think of the Phil Potts and the Robert Mims and the, of course, the Mike Pringles here in Montreal. It's a little bit less than that, but that's what he averaged last year. Had well over 1,000 yards rushing, and they're happy with that. They can get 5 out of Calvin Anderson. That could put Jeff Garcia in a second and medium, second and short situation.
They did better than that. 6 in the previous play. 2nd and 4. Garcia runs for his life. McLennan was covering on Dwayne Ford.
That's a second ball in a row, John, that Jeff Garcia just sort of thrown over the receiver. It doesn't look like he's getting a good grip on the football for some reason, because that's twice now that he just clearly overthrew a receiver.
Neither quarterback has passed effectively thus far.
Well, Tracy Ham in his first series threw 2 to the wrong color. Fortunately for Montreal, they were both dropped, but you're right.
Martino to right again. Chris Wright back near his 25. And Martino at his 25. No score. Olympic Stadium thus far. Wright took one back, 60 yards for a touchdown. Not this time. That was game 1 of the season when Chris Wright scampered 60 against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. You're watching game 1 of week 3, and here's the rest of the schedule in Canadian football this week. BC at Edmonton Thursday. We'll have that for you with Gord Miller and Clint Suter. You're on.
Yeah, I'll be on the plane tomorrow morning. Yeah.
And Friday Night Football as David Archer joins us in Hamilton. The Blue Bombers game, and final game of the week, Toronto at Saskatchewan. First and 10 for the Alouettes, beginning at the 43. Didn't fool anybody as Pringle is hauled down. Might have been a face mask. What did you see in there? He went down rather quickly and suddenly.
It's tough to tell. Right in the mix there. It could either be a holding. I don't think Alondra Johnson, from my angle, got his hand up on that face mask.
Foul. Face mask. Calgary number 51. First down.
I guess he did. I guess I had a bad angle. Alondra Johnson
went down like a ton of bricks.
Well, he read the play. I heard Tracy Ham audibling from up here. He was yelling, Louie, Louie, and that's just changing the direction of the play. And there you clearly see that he did grab the face mask, but Alondra Johnson knew what Louie meant and was in the backfield. He just grabbed onto that mask.
Alouettes move to the Stampeder 52 for a first down. Play action fake by Ham, who took a big hit as he delivered. Touchdown. Chris Armstrong.
He's the big play man for the Montreal Alouettes, and he proves it again so far this season. Over 200 yards, second in the Canadian Football League. That's his second touchdown, and he runs an out and up on Kenton Leonard. The play action fake throws Leonard, and he was wide open for it.
Tracy Ham got hammered delivering the ball, but it was a perfect toss. And a 52-yard touchdown strike to Chris Armstrong. Alouettes are on the board first. Armstrong, 10 receptions, 217 yards in his first 2 games. As you mentioned, this is his second touchdown.
You see Tracy Ham with that little play action fake. That held Kenton Leonard, and you see how far behind. He's 4, 5 steps behind Chris Armstrong, who had run the out and up pattern, was down the sideline all along. Ham had no idea whether or not this ball was caught, because watch Darryl Hall hit him right between the shoulder blades as he goes down, and he can't really tell yet, and then you just listen to the crowd.
Nice to have speed, and Chris Armstrong has some. Just about 1,000 yards last year and 7 touchdowns. 63 catches for 979 yards.
Well, you think of his best year back in 1994 when he was over 1,500 yards receiving and had 18 touchdowns that year. He's their big play guy, no question about it.
7-0 for the Alouettes as the Stampeders drop back and regroup. Terry Baker coming down to Coleman. Coleman looking for the wide berth, trying to get outside on Gravely, and he turns him back in and sets up the tackle. Well, Jeff Garcia has to answer a touchdown in a hurry. I'm sure at least that's what he's thinking in his mind. Last year he had a pretty nice evening here at Olympic Stadium.
Boy, did he ever. 3 touchdown passes, 305 yards, and of course Calgary won that game 62-22.
It will not be 60 points on the Calgary score sheet tonight, guaranteed. Stampeders beginning at the 42. Anderson gets the call. Behind Fred Childress. And he's closing in on 5 yards. Looks like a gain of 5.
And Wally Guano told us that Fred Childress will switch sides, go to the strength of the formation or to the wide side of the field. And you see big 68, he'll be over there, and you can bet that Kelvin Anderson will likely be running right behind him for the most part tonight.
Kind of a flopping guard, I guess.
That's a big flop.
Either side of the ball. On 2nd and 5, Garcia throws the Alouettes and has a strike to Travis Moore, 83.
Travis Moore is probably one of the nicest surprises for Wally Guano this year because he came in camp in the best shape he's ever been in, and he came off a shoulder injury he suffered in 1996. Really only played 10 games last year. There's his numbers so far this season, but he came in shape, ready to contribute to this team, and has done so far this year.
This time it's Terry Vaughn to the near side. And 3 receivers flank to the far side of the field on 1st down. I don't know where that ball ended up. Looks like the Alouettes might have come up with an interception.
Well, it's a big hit down there on Kelvin Anderson. That ball popped straight up. And I think the newcomer, Tom Hips, comes up with it. Just a little screen dump pass by Jeff Garcia. You're going to see Garcia just turn around and dump it. Excuse me, it was Dwayne Ford who picked it up, and then the hit right there from the outside, and I can't quite pick up that number, but I believe...
Hips, 77, that's the newcomer.
Yeah, it was Hips that made the hit. I mean, Garcia not only has to see the ball turned over, but then he gets that hit at the end of it, too.
Alouettes have the offense right back on the field on a 1st down. Pringle broke through the first wave of Stampeder tacklers, and he's halfway to a 1st down.
You know, you talk to the coaching staff here in Montreal, and they just can't say enough good things about Michael Pringle. I mean, the way he practices is so impressive. Every day in practice, doesn't matter what type of practice it is, he's going to try and break tackles, and every running play, he runs for 50 yards on every running play. He's in great shape and practices like he plays.
Davis marked at 3 and 2nd and 7 for Tracy Ham. Can't find a receiver now.
Right there. Go, Mike.
Souls sliding out of the backfield. And Mike Souls is up near the 40-yard line for the big 1st down for Montreal. 2nd catch of the season.
Well,
Mike Souls.
Yeah, Mike Souls has been used a little bit differently this year. He'll go out sometimes in this game and line up as the wide receiver. We see some vintage Tracy Ham buying time. Now, Michael Souls was the wide receiver on the play and just hung out there by the sideline looking for that hole, and Ham found him.
1st and 10, Montreal, now at the Stampeder 40. Pringle again, and 3 yards, maybe 4 for Mike Pringle that time. He averages 5.5 yards a carry.
Second in the CFL in rushing behind Robert Mims, but Robert plays later in the week, and Mike Pringle just passed him because he was only 5 behind him to start this game. That'll be a race that'll be on all season.
I would think so. This is 2nd and 7. And far side. Big hit. No catch. Marcus Wall couldn't quite hang on.
Well, that might have been a little bit of a frustration hit from Marvin Coleman. Let's hear this hit. I mean, this was a big hit. He came out of that, broke out of that zone defense and came up and bang. Big hit right in the middle of the back of Marcus Wall, and down goes the football. That's frustration. He dropped a pick early in the game. He wanted to take it out on the receiver.
Terry Baker good on 2 of 4 field goals tried, including the game winner last week. Hitting on 50%, and that boosts Terry Baker's percentage as the Alouettes grab a 10-0 lead. To be a little concerned at that Stampeder bench. At 0-2, the Stampeders have had the lead in the previous 2 ball games that they've lost, and now they're down 10-0.
Now, always quick to point out that they have lost 3 games in a row. They did it in the middle of the season last year, but they never started the season with 2 losses. So, a little bit of concern in Calgary.
Coleman waits for the kickoff. The Alouettes are leading 10-0. On the sidelines, and Coleman gets out near the 38-yard line. Garcia has to get it rolling now. He really hasn't had a hot hand. Turned it over last time, but really it was Dwayne Ford fumbling the football after Garcia made the completion. Ford took a pretty good hit and lost the ball.
Again, though, it's a little things for the Calgary Stampeders. A couple balls overthrown, a fumble here and there, dropped interception, and they find themselves down by 10 points.
Stampeders at the 38, first down. Anderson straight ahead. And Randolph is there to wrap up Kelvin Anderson.
Well, this is a real swarming type of defense, and it's led by Paul Randolph. He calls all the defensive plays from the middle linebacker position, and this was a group that last year, the best group in the league comes to the tackle category. Paul Randolph, the leader.
5 receivers set for Garcia. Looks under the cover for Danielson, open, and he'll have the first down. Lots to spare, too. Danielson out near the 45. Nice looking play for Vince Danielson. A real impact player on this Calgary offense.
Well, he had 8 catches last week, and Gerald Wilcox, of course, retired after the game and knew that Vince Danielson would be a big part of this offense. He certainly contributed last week in the BC game, and last year, as a matter of fact, had over 500 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. And he knew when Dave Sabundas retired this year that this would be his year. Now, he had a bit of a back injury, but he's healthy now and ready to go.
Garcia felt a little heat and had to hurry the throw, looking for Moore.
Well, they're excited here in Montreal about this new linebacker, Larry McSeed, number 31. He came on the blitz there and rushed Jeff Garcia on the play. He's got 1 sack registered in the book, and Travis Moore did not read the same thing that Garcia did. There's Larry McSeed, 1 sack in the book, but I was talking to player personnel manager Jim Pop, and he said that he's knocked the ball out of quarterback's hands about 4 times this year.
Garcia looking at 2nd and 10 at the 45, and that one was up for grabs again. Tom Hips almost had another one.
Tom Hips was using the swivel hips to get that one. He was nice job of knocking it down at the line of scrimmage. He was just sort of moving laterally. You'll see him, number 77, slide across the line of scrimmage laterally late here. That pops up, and he gets that deflection, then tries to chase it down. There's the deflection right there. The ball's in the air, and then it's like tiptoeing along the line to try and pick it up.
Stanton will punt it away. Martino at his 50. Right awaits, right on the goal line. Go get him! Oh! Took a few steps to get under that one. And Wright will have no play, rolling out about the 3.
Another great kick by Tony Martino. You know, I think he was thinking about faking that. Now, I'm not sure. Some of the punchers in the league, you think about the Louis Pasaguas, have the green light. If they see everybody peel out of there, they can go ahead and run. I think Tony Martino thought about that and then decided at the last minute to kick.
That might have been a decent situation to go for it when you're at that end of the football field to try and turn things around.
Yeah, but when you're 0-2 and under the gun and
you're down 10
and down by 10, you know, it's tough to take a chance like that. And
wasn't a good thought at all.
Well, if you come to the sideline and it doesn't work, I'd hate to see the look walling you.
Alouettes begin deep at the 4. First down. Mike Pringle ran into one of his own blockers. I think he was slowed down by Michael Souls, 22. Falling forward for a couple.
You know, you talk about Mike Pringle and his year last year. Pringle, in 8 games, had 825 yards rushing. Now, if you project that over the whole season, had he been able to play the whole season here, he'd have had another 18-plus yards rushing here. Amazing.
On 2nd and 9, Pringle again. He breaks one. I believe he stopped short of a first down by about 1.5 yards. Wrapped up by Dwayne Patterson.
He's got such tremendous leg strength, Mike Pringle does, and he breaks tackles well. You have to gang tackle him because he can spin and he keeps those legs churning. He didn't pick up the first down, but he's so strong.
Stampeders have the #1 defense against the run. They've only allowed 32.5 yards per game so far in 97.
Good matchup. #1 rushing team against the #1 defense against the run.
Baker from his end zone. Calgary will get good field position. The returners await near the 50. This is Vaughn. Had one hand on it and corralled it. And pretty well stopped dead in his tracks with a flag coming down on top of the pile.
Well, two good athletic plays there that Terry Baker makes first, because that ball skipped back to him. He did a good job fielding it and then getting the kick away, and then Terry Vaughn somehow stopped that ball from rolling past him.
Holding. Calgary number 17. First down.
It's Marvin Coleman, who's not enjoying his trip to Montreal so far.
Well, he's had a couple of decent returns. One was called back, and then he gets the penalty there and dropped that interception early in the game. And even though as a defensive back, you try and let those things go and not think about them because they could affect your play. You know in the back of his mind, he's thinking about one that got away there.
1:27 to go in the opening quarter at Olympic Stadium, Montreal, with the Alouettes on top 10-0. Jake seems to have a message. Is the clock incorrect?
It looks like what they're talking about. We're going to find out right now.
Please reset the game clock to 1:33.
Okay,
1:33.
Lost 6 seconds.
Okay, Jake, excuse me. I'll just go reset that. Right back there.
You want to count up? There we go. 1:33 to go. Lions and the Eskimos from Commonwealth and Edmonton. That should be a pretty good ball game. I'll look forward to watching you guys do that.
Both coming off big wins. Edmonton and Saskatchewan, of course, and BC beating Calgary.
Both narrow victories, too. In one sense, here's Vaughn making the catch. And he's got about 4 yards. Grabbed by Swift Birch. Number 90 for the Alouettes. Birch played 16 games for Ottawa in 96. A couple of years in Toronto along the way.
Yeah, Swift Birch is a little bit better as a defensive end, but Montreal has moved him inside. He'll play inside. He's starting to learn the position from that tackle position, but he's getting better every game according to coaching staff here in Montreal.
Garcia looking at 2nd and 7 from the shotgun. And almost picked off. Garcia hasn't had zip on the ball.
Oh,
Torrey Hunter was almost running the other way.
Now, I don't know what it is, but DBs this year have got to do some more ball drills or something. They're dropping a ton of interceptions. Torrey Hunter, in his first start, comes across, and boy, You don't get much easier interception opportunities than that one.
His hands turn to stone. So Martino is in again. And Wright is deep, standing near his 10 this time. Montreal gets a little bit of field position back, depending on the return, of course. Wright can't find anything, lost the ball, and it looks like the Stampeders might have come up with it. No, goes right back to Montreal.
It's a good job of keeping Chris Wright contained on the play, because he was one block away from springing it around the corner. See Wright right there, and Travis Moore came down and made him turn inside, and that ball is definitely a fumbling on the ground. Darryl Hall has a chance at it,
And he lost it.
and I think Paul Whitmore is the one who comes up with it for Montreal.
Hall had the best opportunity at a recovery, and look where the Stampeders might have been. I guess that's
The little
one of
things
the
again.
things
Yeah, the little things again for Calgary, and Paul Whitmore picks up that fumble, but they must be wondering what they have to do to get a break.
Wally Buono just trying to get the most of what he has, and things haven't been bouncing his way.
Not so far this year.
Early in '97. Zeros are on the score clock here, indicating the end of the quarter, but we can't end on a penalty here, so Jake will figure things out.
Procedure. Montreal number 8. Still first down.
You know, the quarterback has a lot to think about when he comes over the line of scrimmage. He has to think about where the play's going, what he's reading, looking at the linebacker, and I think Tracy Ham forgot the snap count, because he said hut 1, and the ball is still sitting there on the ground.
Not much you can do from the 1-yard line. Ham just hands off and straight ahead. For a couple, it'll be third down, and they'll think about, or second down, I should say, they'll think about what to do to begin the second quarter. We send you back to CFL Live Control.
CFL Live at the Quarter is brought to you by Midas for new, longer-lasting carbon metallic brake pads.
Hi, and welcome back to CFL Live at the Quarter. Last year, the Calgary Stampeders averaged more than 32 points a game. So far this season, it's down to 19. And Marty, so far, the Stamps haven't shown, with no points in that first quarter, they're any better off.
No, they're not showing it at all. In fact, I think in this league, unless you have a Doug Flutie or a Tracy Ham at quarterback, you have to be prepared to go to your bench for a second quarterback. And Garcia's not getting anything going. And I know that the Calgary offense expressed all week their desire to see Dave Dickinson come in, replace Garcia, see if he can get something going. This kid's been waiting around for 2 years at a chance. He had a great preseason, and I know Wally Buono is prepared to use Dave Dickinson. Don't be surprised if you see him in this game tonight.
I would like to argue that case with you, Marty, about going to a second quarterback, because you have to give the first quarterback the confidence that he can do the job,
Listen,
right?
They're not doing anything
I know,
yet.
but I want to go back to Montreal's defense. Montreal's defense is a different style of defense that we're seeing this year. Last year, they sat back and played nothing but zone, but this year, they are bringing a lot of heat on opposing quarterbacks. They just sit back, and you never know when they're going to come. They got linebackers that are sitting in different situations, and they put pressure on you, and then the defensive lineman drops back like this play right here and gets almost an interception, which is very different from last year. Dave Ritchie was the defensive coordinator, but you would have never have known it by the style of defense they were running.
Well, that's what happens when you become a head coach, Les.
That's right. Maybe I ought to get that job.
The other thing I think watching this game is that it's true to form. The Alouettes have been very opportunistic about taking advantage of their breaks. They get tackled in the backfield, they get a face mask, and they turn it into a touchdown. They get a fumble, and they get another 3 points. Whereas Calgary drops a sure interception, and they don't come up with the fumble on the punt. So Calgary's having trouble taking advantage of their opportunities.
Yeah, certainly the biggest story so far in the quarter. Hams look good, but when opportunity is knocked, only the Alouettes have answered. Let's head back to Olympic Stadium now for John and Glenn.
Just in time to begin the second quarter with the Alouettes looking at second down and long near the 4-yard line. That'll be enough for a first down. His hand connects. John Clivey.
Well, Marvin Pope is right here on your screen. He's going to get a little pressure on the stun as he comes up and underneath. He's going to get his hand on this football and make Tracy Ham pay for that completion.
And up for the first down. The pitch to Pringle. Slowed in the backfield and brought down. What a great tackle.
Back-to-back great plays from Big Daddy Marvin Pope. He just read that play before it happened, was in the backfield. He's going to be on the left of your screen and just work upfield. He's got contained, working on Big Neil Fort, fought right through that block. Trips up Mike Pringle.
The loss is substantial. It's 2nd and 17. The Alouettes now back at the 10. Stampeder defense making a few things happen here. Some heat on Ham. Can't get it away. Or at least can't connect with Nigel Williams.
Well, the Calgary Stampeders did something that they don't often do, and that's come with the halfback blitz. Eddie Davis came off the corner on the halfback blitz and provided the pressure for Ham, and the coverage downfield was good. All the DBs in man-to-man coverage. You're going to see some pressure. Number 29 from the top left-hand corner of your screen is going to come in there. He provides the pressure on Ham, and good coverage downfield. There's no play.
Baker from his end zone. Coleman licking his chops. Marvin Coleman right at midfield on the 55. And a good return. 15 yards. He's down to the Montreal 40-yard line after a 45-yard punt. Stampeders will try and get it rolling here.
Please see who's going.
Here are the numbers for Midas after quarter number 1. Look at the time of possession.
Well, yeah, this is the one. This is the key one right here. Again, the Calgary Stampeders doing a pretty good job moving the football. They have the time of possession advantage, but a goose egg on the scoreboard.
One big play for the Alouettes for 7 points. 50-yard toss. Here's Garcia set up with great field position. And missing his target, Vince Danielson.
Well, it's good coverage by Torrey Hunter because Vince Danielson wanted to run the corner route. He wanted to get right to the flag or the corner of the end zone, and Torrey Hunter stayed on his outside shoulder, wouldn't let him out there. That's why the ball bounced way outside of Danielson.
And there's a marker down. We'll check out the infraction.
Procedure. Calgary number 88. Decline. 2nd down.
Stampeders cannot seem to get it going here.
Well, so far,
this was their best field position beginning at the 40.
Yeah, and we're talking about opportunities again. So far, I have 2 penalties that have cost them, 2 dropped interceptions, and 1 fumble.
Stamps are down 10-0 to the Montreal Alouettes. Garcia buys a little time from the shotgun. Looks a little too deep for Vaughn.
Now you may be seeing a little bit of impatience from Jeff Garcia. That's 2 times in a row now. He's come out and tried to put 6 on the board in 1 play. First of all, he tries to Danielson. Now he comes back, hauls off, and throws the post pattern to Terry Vaughn. But you can see how Jeff Garcia is starting to become frustrated and a little bit impatient, trying to get it all at once.
Enter Mark McLaughlin. Not his best start as a field goal kicker in a Stampeder uniform. Good on only 2 of 6. Hitting on 33%. We talked at the outset about the miss that cost the Stampeders an opportunity to win last week in BC. Put down on the 47, and he's wide. So Wright will take a little time off the clock before surrendering the single point. Certainly within McLaughlin's range.
And you talked to Wally Bono about Mark McLaughlin, and he has had some personal things to deal with. Passing of his father just before the season started, but Wally says, listen, this guy is a professional. He'll work his way through it. And remember, last year he led the Canadian Football League in points. It was the 3rd time he has done it in his career. In 94-96, he was an All-Canadian. I mean, Mark McLaughlin will work through this slump.
He is Calgary's all-time scoring leader on top of that. Something's missing. That from 47 yards. Not a chip shot by any stretch.
Well, I tell you what, John.
But it's his range.
When you look at the goalposts from 47 yards, they look like they're about as wide as a stamp. Postage stamp.
And he had the wind behind him.
Did Wally open the doors?
Wally opened the doors. Alouettes on first down. Ham looked for Climby and missed the target.
Well, Ham just missed Jock Climby on that throw. I mean, last year, Climby had over 1,200 yards. He's a key receiver for this Montreal offense. He'll be the guy that goes over the middle and gets the hard yards. You know, Chris Armstrong does those post corners and deep balls for touchdowns, and Climby catches a lot of curls and crossing runs.
The clutch catcher. Yep. 2nd and 10. There's Armstrong.
So just as I say that, Chris Armstrong
goes
comes
over
across the middle, catches a tough pass, and takes a hit while he's doing it. Well, that's back-to-back plays that were identical. Tracy Ham just calling crossing routes to his slot backs and trying to get him and cross the face of the defensive backs. That time, Alonzo Johnson was trying to cover. Kenton Leonard comes over to take the hit, but that's definitely a matchup that Ham will look for if they want Alonzo Johnson to try and run with Chris Armstrong.
Ham comes up short of the first down, and Baker is in again.
Must have been kicked the balloon.
Good kick by Terry Baker. Marvin Coleman grabbed by the bootstraps. He's slowed at the 20-yard line. Garcia tries to get the Stampeder offense rolling when we return.
Play Safeway's all new.
Alouettes look for real at Olympic Stadium again tonight. Stampeders try to put something together. Here's Garcia. And no catch on the sidelines as Garcia looked for Vaughn. And Jeff Garcia has not been sharp tonight. The Stampeders have not executed very well. 6 of 14 for 45 yards. Tracy Ham hitting on 50%, and in there's the 150-yard touchdown toss,
which was a perfect strike, which he was being hit on. So both aren't really sharp right now so far, but Wally Guano dearly needs Jeff Garcia to start clicking, get some momentum back and some field position back.
Well, we keep thinking that it's only a matter of time before Garcia puts a little something together.
That's the way you feel with these Calgary Stampeders. Any moment now, they're going to explode.
Second and 10. Garcia won't get in the way. Wrapped up by Peyton first.
He's got a new dance, John.
And it goes like this?
It goes like this. And I think it's called, well, I don't know if there's a name for it, but let's call it the Cobra. He's coming off the edge at the bottom of the line right here. Alfred Payton working on Rocco Romano. Nice swim move, puts that left arm across, and then wraps up Jeff Garcia, pulls him down for his second sack of the season.
Martino has been the busiest Stampeder. Couple yards deep in the end zone. Good kick by Martino. Chasing right all the way back to the 40. Had trouble hanging on and wisely smothered the ball. The old Wilson a little slippery tonight.
Well, Chris Wright was looking at that ball, and then just before he went to catch it, he looked to an opening downfield where he thought he might run. It's just like you talk to receivers. Make sure you secure the ball before you look to where you're going to run, and Chris Wright didn't do it. Lucky to receive it for Montreal.
Tracy Ham hasn't put together any sustained drives so far tonight. The touchdown was on a bomb over 50 yards. Let's see what he can do here. First down. The Alouette 44. Ham stands in and almost picked off again. Tight coverage and an opportunity for the newcomer William Hampton.
Yeah, and we thought going into this game that William Hampton would be tested. He's the rookie on the corner. He's up at the top right here, but watch the closing ability of Hampton as he comes and beats Armstrong to the football. Or excuse me, Nigel Williams. He just beat him to the football. That's just straight out speed and closing ability.
Second and 10 Alouettes, 44-yard line. Montreal leading 10-1. And Tracy Ham took a little too long deciding on what he wanted to do.
Well, you know what happened, John, is Greg Knox from the safety position got right up in the line of scrimmage, and Tracy Ham's the veteran, didn't have the right play called to take care of a safety blitz.
Montreal number 53, still second down.
So when Ham started to audible, Azumo KK was the one who goes on the offside. KK is the right-hand side of your screen right here. Now he's gonna, when Ham gets into the audible and he sees number 8 right here, that's Greg Knox come up on the safety blitz. Gets a little anxious and pulls his hand off the ground.
The Alouettes facing 2nd and 15. Ham hasn't run a great deal tonight. He'll take off here, locks for the first down. Tracy Ham still going. Knox finally runs it out of bounds. Boy, what a great run by Tracy Ham.
John, I watched the 2 game tapes of the Montreal Alouettes in their first 2 games of the year, and the first impression I had was this looks like Tracy Ham of the old Edmonton Eskimo days when he was the ham bone taken off. He is healthy this year. Remember last season he had back problems, but a lot of good tackling football players had angles on Ham on that play, and he took off and running.
38 yards for Tracy Ham, and look where the Owls are now. Inside the Stampeder 35 at the 34.
He's averaging 7.8 yards a carry running the football this year. He's actually 3rd in the league rushing behind Robert Mims, Mike Pringle, and then it's Tracy Ham. And of course, 7.8 average is his career average as well. I mean, he's having a great year running the football already.
And the great quarterbacking derby between Tracy and Damon, number 1 and number 2 among rushing quarterbacks in CFL history. Tracy
there he is
stretches
again.
the lead just a little bit.
You're going to see your game leaders, and there he is again. Leading rusher, and when you have Kelvin Anderson and Mike Pringle on the field, it's pretty amazing that your quarterback's the leading rusher.
Alondra Johnson will sit out a couple at the Stampeder bench. Crucial series for Calgary. Montreal set up at the 33. Pringle escaped. He's inside the 20.
This was their favorite, Montreal's favorite play versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And what's going to happen is the whole side of the offensive line is going to pull around the corner. It's going to be Azumo KK and Bruce Beaton. They take off and pull. Then you see Pringle on the underneath handoff. He gets the corner. They ran that play about 8 times against Montreal and had tons of success, or Winnipeg, excuse me, and had a ton of success with it.
5 receivers set for Ham. On first down, tries to get away and somehow does. He's magic tonight. And he almost gets a first down out of it. Chris Armstrong. That was magical stuff.
It is a treat to watch him play football. I mean, how many guys have a crack at Ham right here? How does he get out of that one? First of all, keeps his balance with his left hand, runs into his own player, OKK, and then takes off, still delivers the football. Unbelievable.
My, oh my. It'll be second down.
He's fun to watch.
Nice drive going. Looking at 2nd and 2. Little extension out for Pringle, and he'll have the first down.
Mike Pringle will just wear you down and wear you down. You think back to his year in 1994 when he rushed for close to 2,000 yards. Look at those career numbers. 6.1 yard rushing average. I mean, one thing that they say here in Montreal about Mike Pringle is that he runs the same whether it's the first quarter or the fourth.
One thing Dave Ritchie says about Mike Pringle, as good as there is. And then he thought a little bit about Corey Philpott, who he coached a little bit in BC.
Right.
And he said those two guys are
pretty good
close.
too. Yeah.
Pretty close in my book.
Player gets it in the nuts. He's on the...
Marvin Pope injured over on the sideline. We were in BC. Marvin Pope was sitting during the warm-up, really wasn't running around a lot. He says, I want to conserve my energy for the game. Tonight, we came down here and Marvin Pope was doing sprints. He said, last week I wasn't happy with my performance. This week I'm going to try a different warm-up style, try and warm, and maybe he tired himself out too much. He looks like he'll be okay.
Well, we have a second here. Do you want to see
I would love
Tracy
to see
run one more time?
Hey, I would love to see that run again. I mean, look at this. Ducks up inside right here on Ernie Brown. Somehow keeps his balance. Okeke does his best to tackle him, his own teammate.
Well, he kind of propped him up there.
It props him up, and then still is able to deliver the strike with Neil Ford hitting him in the ankles.
Catch was made. And now,
see Pope now, he's taking his time getting to the sideline. He's going to be okay, but he wants to give his defense a rest. They've had to chase around Tracy Ham on this drive. They're a little winded.
So here's the deal. First and goal to go. Montreal at the Stampeder 5. Alouettes leading 10-1. Michael Soles, a little extra effort, gets the job halfway done. Or rather, Pringle, I'm sorry, 27.
Yeah, he got hit in the backfield, spun off the first tackle. You know, I don't think tonight, I can't remember once tonight that Mike Pringle was tackled by the first guy.
That's a good point.
Anthony McClanahan was the first one to hit Pringle on that play, but he just spun off that tackle.
Now second and goal to go, Stampeder 2-yard line. Touchdown. Tracy did it the hard way, but he got it across the line for a couple out. Following one of the new guys, Brian Chu.
Well, it's just a simple option play, but it's not simple when Mike Pringle and Tracy Ham are the two guys you're trying to protect. And see there, Raymond Biggs had to make a choice. Do I go after Mike Pringle, who's the best running back out here, or do I try and stay with Tracy Ham? He got in between, and Ham stuck in.
You can make an argument for the best running back on the field tonight. Both wearing Montreal colors. Ham and Pringle get the job done. And the Alouettes are running away from the Calgary Stampeders. Here's how Tracy does it. 6 more.
I'm the President of the United States.
On July 25th.
How the hell did they get Air Force One?
Experience the motion picture event of the summer. Harrison Ford.
Get off my plane.
Air Force One opens everywhere July 25th. Newsweek magazine raves Men in Black is the coolest, funniest movie of the summer.
This party just getting started.
Rolling Stone magazine calls it this season's #1 joyride. Men in Black, now playing in theaters everywhere.
Well, Jerry, I don't know about you.
Looking for something different?
I can remember in the past.
Want to get involved?
Feel the rush. Get in the game.
The CFL is back, more radical than ever. The action never stops. It's hard-hitting, high-scoring football. Where are the attitudes?
Feel the rush. Get in the game.
And he's taken down.
Tracy Ham engineered the drive and made a big play on every play of the drive.
Jock Climby over there just talking to Tracy Ham, saying, that's a pretty good drive. I like those plays. You take it right, you take it left, you take it up the middle and hand it a couple times to Pringle. I'll just sit and watch. I'll buy a ticket.
Escape, complete a pass down to about the 5-yard line. Stampeders are desperate to get something rolling here. Anderson on the return.
Well, there's
a marker down there. Well, there's
3 of them.
Yeah, I'm counting now. Garcia has not worked
Illegal
well.
block. Calgary number 63. First down.
It's Ron Meyer.
Go back to the key play of the drive Tracy Ham scored on. I mean, this was the one that breaks the defense's back. They got pretty good coverage downfield, and off he goes.
And they thought they had him contained.
Yeah, he outruns a couple of angles there and then takes it down the sideline for a few more. And
that's where Alondra got hurt. You see him pulling his hand there, heading to the sidelines. So Garcia starts inside his 10-yard line, throwing on the run, and he's picked off. Torrey Hunter, the rookie, had an opportunity earlier and took advantage of it here.
John, that's what you call offense. Now remember, this is his first start at the halfback position, and he baited Jeff Garcia to throw that football. He sat to the outside. Vince Danielson is going to sit down in the zone and watch Torrey Hunter bait him and then cut across. Jeff Garcia had no idea. First interception in the CFL, and a little bit of a dance to go along with it. Not quite Alfred Payton's dance, but he has a few years to work on that.
Hunter played 12 games with Houston. In '96, his first start in the CFL came in week 1. Week 2, I should say. Ham eluded the pressure. And this time he's got Michael Souls. Second catch for Souls. And another marker down. And this is going against Calgary too, folks.
Well, Calgary is down. Their
Major
heads
foul.
down.
Face mask. Calgary number 41. First down.
Anthony McClanahan.
They're getting frustrated on both sides of the ball defensively. They've been in the backfield a bunch of times, just not wrapped up, not made good tackles, and it's costing.
Second face masking call against the Stampeders. Setting Montreal up 1st and goal to go at the Calgary 5. Pringle. It looked easy. Little stutter step, sent it along the line, and over.
Good block right there, John, by Bruce Beaton to spring Mike Pringle into the end zone. You really didn't see any different colored jerseys till he got right to the goal line. You see 62 pulling out there and just pancaking Anthony McClanahan, and Pringle had a nice easy lane into the end zone.
Now Wally's worried. It's 23-1. And Terry Baker adds one more to the Alouette total. They're running away from the Calgary Stampeders. Marker down on the convert. It may not matter.
Offside. Calgary number 21. Convert is good. 5 yards on the kickoff.
Let's bring in Michael Whalen on the sidelines at Olympic Stadium. Mike?
Thank you very much, John. Well, standing by with me is Jim Popp, of course, the general manager of the Montreal Alouettes. Things are looking awful good right now for you, Jim.
Very happy. Anytime you get a lead like this is great, but Calgary can strike quick, and we got to keep playing good defense like we are.
A couple of wily old veterans leading the way tonight, the Hambone and Mr. Chris Armstrong.
Yeah, I tell you, it's a great pleasure to have Tracy here, and but the whole team's playing great. The offensive line's doing very well. We got our best lineman out, Mark Dixon, and the rookie Chu's doing a fantastic job.
So you're not counting your chickens before they're hatched, huh?
I never will. Not with this team, Calgary. I remember the time we were in Saskatchewan. We were up 35-3. They came back, tied the game. We went in overtime. Fortunately, we were lucky to win, but I'll never count them out.
All right, Jim, stand by then. Back up to you, John.
Well, lots to smile about for the Montreal Alouettes. After 2 straight victories and a solid performance in the opening half here tonight, Stampeders are back on their heels and trying to get rolling again. Marvin Coleman wrapped up near the 27. What's wrong with Calgary, Suits?
Well, Jeff Garcia seems to be frustrated completely. I mean, he's overthrew a couple balls early, a couple drops. He's not getting the protection he wants, and looks like he's running before he has to. He's not solid in the pocket, and consequently hasn't put any points on the board for his team.
Turnovers have been costly to the Stampeders. They're down 24-1 and have given up a couple of touchdowns on turnovers. So Garcia really wants to get something rolling now before the end of the opening half. Shotgun. Garcia unloads in a hurry as Joseph Rogers
Well, Joseph Rogers finally getting back in the offense. This is a guy who's so far leading the Calgary Stampeders this year in receiving. They need to get him the football a little more. He's going to run primarily out of the slot back position. Of course, last year was the runner-up for outstanding rookie in the Canadian Football League when he was in Ottawa, but they need to get him the football a little more, and that's one way to do it on that little hitch screen.
First catch of the night. He had 11 for 140 yards coming in. Garcia on second, about 7. He'll have a first down or close to it. Actually, though, Dwayne Ford was pushed back. We'll see where they actually mark his forward progress. It looked like it was open for a second, but all of a sudden,
I just want to try and make
Randolph was there.
Sorry, John. I just want to make a point about Jeff Garcia. Now, watch him in the pocket. He has no reason to start to run. I mean, he's going to set up, look downfield, make sure. Now, see his feet. His feet are always moving. He isn't settled. He's not planting his feet. Looks like he's antsy in there and a little frustrated.
Are those happy feet?
Those are happy feet.
Just enough. Been a long time between breaks for the Stampeders here. And Ford has the first down. Stampeders really have not executed all that well on offense. Wide margin in first downs favoring Montreal. But here's one for Calgary. A little play action fake to Anderson. And it opens up for Fred Bailey.
And Jeff Garcia got rid of that football just in time. Alfred Payton was right on him, and so was the backside linebacker, Larry McSee.
Timeout at Olympic Stadium in Montreal, where it's been all Alouettes so far on CFL Live. Tomorrow night, the Eskimos and the BC Lions live from Commonwealth. The guys will all be there for a 10 o'clock Eastern Time kickoff. What do you think? Do we see this guy? Dave Dickinson. Zeros beside his name in the CFL so far in '97. Garcia has been struggling, looking now at 2nd and 3. Garcia and a receiver fall down. That was Fred Bailey.
Spencer McClennan came along, and Paul Randolph hit Jeff Garcia just as he threw that football. And when things are going bad, they go bad in a big way. Jeff Garcia is going to try and step up into the line and deliver a strike here. And look at the hit he takes from Paul Randolph.
Randolph has been solid so far tonight.
So do we see Dave Dickinson? You know, he had a good preseason for Calgary and brought the team back against Winnipeg in their first preseason game. Was the offensive player of the game in both preseason games. So you wonder, see Dave Dickinson.
I know the thought is now running through the minds of the Calgary offensive coordinator, head coach, and quarterback coach. Good kick. Martino chasing right back to the 10. Well covered by the Stampeders special unit. And now Tracy gets it right back. 2:33 to go till halftime. Montreal on top 24-1. A booming punt by Martino, 53 yards.
And Roger Rice made the tackle.
Montreal number 50. First down.
Penalty on the return against Montreal. Rashan Giddings caught for holding. Ham's numbers are not what you call brilliant in one
Well,
sense.
he doesn't have to have big passing numbers when he's running the way he is and when he has Pringle running the way he is. So when Tracy Ham is running the football this effectively, why throw it? I mean, this is that play that got Pringle into the end zone when they run that sort of draw play out of the shotgun with the left side of the offensive line pulling, and a lot of success with it this year.
Alouettes begin at the 5-yard line. Pringle again. Garcia shaking out the cobwebs, obviously. Took a pretty good hit from Paul Randolph previous play.
Well, he got the top of Paul Randolph's helmet right in his chin. And they were looking up at his teeth and at his jaw and make sure that there's no cracks in there and that he's got all those front teeth.
Smile looks pretty good
Looks
still.
okay, yeah.
2nd and 5, Alouettes at the 10. And buying a little time. And he's got Jock Spivey.
John, this play develops because Tracy Ham has all day to throw the football. Nice job by the offensive lineman from Montreal to provide time so jock climbing could come all the way across the football field, and Ham just sat in there, waited till he cleared the zone and found him.
Climbing an Eastern All-Star in '96. Over 1,200 yards in receptions and 9 touchdowns. 1:53 till halftime. And his 3 receivers to the near side and just slips it to Pringle. He goes off right tackle to the short side of the field, following Brian Chu, who's in for Mark Dixon. Chu's done a pretty good job.
Yeah, they're real happy with the young Brian Chu at right guard, playing for Mark Dixon, who they feel here in Montreal, and I know most of the time your coaching staff thinks you have the best players, but they think Mark Dixon's the best in the league. He had a wisdom tooth pulled and had some problems with that, so he won't be back for probably another 10 days, and Brian Chu has to take the load until then.
Another 5 for Pringle on 2nd and 5. On target one more time to Chris Armstrong. Eddie Davis on the stop. Here's Mike.
Hey, John, I just checked with Jeff Garcia after that hit by Paul Randolph, and he looks okay. He was just checking, though, to see if he had any teeth that were a little loose. Guess his dentist will be hearing from him.
It was a solid shot. 1:09 to go till halftime. Markers down on an Alouette first down. What did you spot?
If I were going to be a bet man, I'd bet on procedure here.
Well done.
Well, it just looked like the offensive left side of the line there for Montreal got going before the ball was snapped.
Give this guy a lot of credit for the way
Montreal
the
number
Alouette
53,
defense is playing.
Still first down.
Not this guy, Dave Ritchie.
Well, you know, when Dave Ritchie came into camp this year as the head coach, you're going to see the movement from the left side of this offensive line here. Right there, Zumo KK is the one who gets the procedure call, his second of the game. But Dave Ritchie came in and still a lot of discipline in this football team when he started this year.
And back against the flow. He has Williams. And Williams is submarine at the 55-yard line.
Tracy Ham has looked at Nigel Williams a couple of times in this game, which is something he didn't do in the first 2. Nigel Williams coming into it only had 1 catch coming in. There he is right there. He's going to come out and do the curl pattern right there underneath. Slides across. You see the picket fence set up for him, and then take off and pick up some yards.
First catch for Nigel Williams. Alouettes needed 15 yards after the procedure call. They got 14 yards and a half. So it'll be second down.
Second down in a little bit, and this is one of those waste downs where Wally Buono's thinking Tracy Ham could waste one here, maybe just try and go deep.
At the 53, it's 2nd and inches for Tracy Ham. No problem with that. 47 seconds till a half.
Well, you know, when Montreal got this football back in their own end, deep in their own end, it was an opportunity for the Calgary defense to try and get something positive before the end of the half. If they stop them there, they punt the ball, get the ball back. Calgary has a chance for some points before the end of the half, but Tracy Ham says, no, not today.
Stampeders are taking the worst of the physical abuse here tonight.
Reset the clock to 47 seconds.
That's
put one
more tick up there.
Now, was that 1 second that important, or did Jake Ireland just want to be on camera?
Oh, that was Mr. Suter that said that.
Just wondering. That's just, I'll ask him after the game. The 1 second is back on the clock.
There you go. Talking about the Stampeders taking
and there's a punishing. There's a bonus look at Jake.
I'm trying to say the punishment here tonight. Jeff Traversy is the latest.
Well, yeah, Laundry
Stampeder
Johnson.
hurt.
Excuse me, John. Laundry Johnson left the game early with that hamstring, and Ray Bernard has had to replace him. We saw Marvin Pope go down as well, and now Jeff Traversy.
Looks like he'll be back. Steady and improving is the book on Jeff Traversy in his first CFL season.
You saw there, Pope is back in the game.
This drive began at the 5. Another first down for Ham. Triangle escape. And Pope's out there trying to run him down. He comes up with a strike. Marcus Wall has taken the Alouettes inside the 25 of the Calgary Stampeders. 33 yards, hand to Wall.
When Tracy Ham is healthy, boy, he is scary. Look at this. All the way to the right side of the football field. Now Pope and Ray Bernard track him down and cut him off before he gets the corner. So what does he do?
Calgary.
Comes back, throws it all the way across the field to Marcus Wall.
And McClanahan was life and death to catch up to him and make the tackle. Timeout Stampeders. Wally's got to think about something here. 26 seconds on the clock. Things are not going Wally's way.
I tell you what, I would not want to be a bug in the wall in the locker room at halftime with Wally Bono when he goes into that locker room down 24-1. Seeing a ton of execution problems and missed opportunities. And
au contraire, I'd love to be a bug on the wall. I wouldn't want to be a Stampeder and be in that room. That's the point.
Some paint will be peeling off helmets in there.
Last time the Stampeders lost their opening three, Wally wasn't in charge. Marcus Wall. Another catch.
Well, Tracy's thinking 6. I mean, he's thinking we got 21 seconds left. We have a chance now to put another 6 on the board and really put a nail in the coffin for Calgary.
I really just figured the Stampeders would come out full of intensity, and I don't know if that's what's lacking out there. The crispness isn't available on defense, or on offense, I should say. Here's Ham looking for 6. Oh, nice defensive play. Kenton Leonard.
Yeah, it was
tipped it away from Armstrong.
Great coverage on by Ken Leonard, who's having a good season and one of the bright spots for Calgary this year. He came into training camp, worked really hard, and had 3 knockdowns so far this season, make it 4 counting this one. And Chris Armstrong gets inside him, gets the inside position, but Ken Leonard closes, and good timing to knock that football away.
9 seconds. This is 3rd down, about a yard to go, and that'll be a 1st down, giving Montreal another opportunity. Michael Souls. I think that's his first carry of the night.
Timeout. Montreal.
Alouettes take a timeout.
Now they're going to call a timeout, and 6 seconds left. You have a chance to maybe take 1 shot at the end zone, or you send out your field goal team and just take the 3 points. And I'm sure that's what Tracy Ham and Dave Ritchie will go and discuss right now. He's saying, do we have a chance for 1 shot at the end zone? With 6 seconds left now, and we drop back and pass, will the time expire before we get that next crack? So he's going to send in that field goal unit.
Boy, Ham has been roaming around out there. You might have an opportunity to
John, if you get to 10 or 12 seconds, now that's a chance to go once at the end zone, then you got a time to kick the field goal. But with 6 seconds, you got basically 1 play.
Play it safe. Here's Baker. Settled for 3. No doubt about it, Terry Baker puts it through with 2 seconds till halftime. I am a little surprised at the Stampeders' performance here in the opening half, trailing 27-1.
It's interesting to see how a team reacts. You know, Calgary for so long has been so dominant in the West Division and in the league. And Wally Bono's finished 6 times in first place in 7 years. And when things start going bad is when you really start to see the character in your football team. And to be quite honest with you, Calgary Stampeders haven't experienced it in the last few years. So how will they respond?
But particularly in the early season, the knock on the Stampeders has been that they have been a very good football team through July, August, and September, and then it gets a little iffy in October, which it did last year in the Western Final, losing to the Eskimos after finishing in first spot. Here's Garcia. Rogers makes the catch, and that should about wrap up quarter number 2 and the first half at Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Stay with us. I'm sure the boys will have some views on what's happened here tonight as we send you back to CFL Live Control.
Thank you, John. Hi, everybody, and welcome to CFL Live at the Half. Rod Smith, of course, along with Obi, Les, and Marty. And what a half it was for the Montreal Alouettes. Last year, you may recall, it was Calgary marching in about this time of year, beating the Owls 62-22. I think revenge is on the minds of the players in Montreal. And Les, of all the differences between these two teams, no difference is greater tonight than at quarterback.
Well, you know, Glenn Suter hit it on this at the beginning of the game when he was talking about Tracy Ham being at the top of his game early in the season. This is the beginning of the season. Can you imagine how scary it would be if Tracy Ham keeps playing like this or gets better towards the end of the season? I know last year a lot of people thought that he was better than Doug Flutie towards the end of the year.
And you were one of them.
And I was one of those people. And I think even now that this kid is so effortless, the way he gets away from scrambles and he completes passes. I mean, here he is, he's scrambling off to the right. A guy's coming right at his face, and he sidesteps him. That makes it look so easy, still with his eyes downfield to find a receiver to connect to him. Now, that is amazing, and that is what's going to take these guys a long, long way.
Yeah, he's the exact opposite of the way Garcia is playing, because Garcia, you could tell, he's just lacking confidence, and he was 10 of 21 for about 70 yards and an interception. I thought he was terrible. And Wally Buono established himself as a premier head coach in this league a long time ago, right? He's right up there with Bob Obilovich. But I have to question him in this case. I mean, now they're 0-3. Well, they could be 0-3 tonight. They go into this game knowing that Garcia's been struggling. Dave Dickinson, and Wally's been saying all along that Dave Dickinson had a great training camp. He threw for more touchdown passes than Garcia did in the preseason. What's he waiting for? This game's getting out of hand.
I wouldn't be at all surprised, Marty, if Coach Buono doesn't put Dave in the second half as a young quarterback just to try and get something going, because if he doesn't get it going, he can always bring Jeff Garcia back. So I'm sure they're talking about that at halftime.
Yeah, the way Garcia's back, why would you want to bring him back? I mean,
because if the other guy is worse, that's why.
They'd have to bring Danny Barrett out of the booth.
As a matter of fact, there's some talk that once Danny Barrett recovers from the knee surgery he had in the offseason, he will indeed be back in uniform. So.
And that's from our doctor of dirt.
Think of the state of affairs, though, with Calgary right now. Sure, they lose their first two, but by a single point each. This is just a different animal tonight so far.
Well, and a real key injury in this ball game, when Alondro Johnson went down when he was trying to chase Tracy, Tracy's scrambling ability has been outstanding tonight. That's what's made the big plays for Montreal. When he pulled his hamstring, that's when Montreal started running the ball better with Pringle, because Alondro's an excellent middle linebacker against the run. And
they'll certainly miss him in that second half, although they got a lot of ground to catch up to. Montreal down by 26 points. It's the Owls leading it 27-1 at the half of the Big O. CFL Live at the half continues right after this.
CFL Legends, brought to you by Advantage, providing solutions.
We're gonna kick back, relax, watching football on a Friday night. It's Friday, and we're gonna be hard to take.
Yeah, it's Friday night football coming up. A couple of teams that need a win pretty badly. The 0-2 Blue Bombers and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. We've got it for you. 7:30 Eastern from Ivor Wynne Stadium. Full slate of football coming up in the TSN this week. Of course, tomorrow night we've got the Edmonton Eskimos heading back home after 2 wins on the road, looking to move to 3-0 and facing the 1-1 BC Lions. These two teams, by the way, the other clubs that have beaten Calgary so far this season. Well, after Danny McManus led them to a victory in Saskatchewan, had a little visit with us, and he must have liked it because the Edmonton QB is standing by with our Gord Miller.
A 2-0 starting quarterback, the man who starred with the panel last week at Taylor Field, Danny McManus. 2 wins on the road. You got to feel good about your team right now.
Yeah, getting those 2 wins on the road is a big confidence booster for us. Just coming out of training camp, not sure what type of team we're going to have, and to go on the road right away and come out with 4 points works out, what we want to do. But it doesn't get any easier with BC coming into town.
What kind of team do you have? Is this team as good as last year, better than last year? How would you compare it?
It's hard to say. I know we're doing a lot more stuff than we were doing last year, just because the receivers are all back from last year. The coaching staff is the same. Like I got my same coordinator I had last year, and guys are a lot more comfortable. It's hard to say, are we better than last year with only being in the season for 2 weeks?
Everyone talked about your temperament last week. Your coach paid you a high compliment, saying nothing bothers you. In the first half of the game against Saskatchewan, a pass gets picked off, lateraled, and returned for a 95-yard touchdown, and you're thinking,
see if I can catch the guy, but I'd need another 110 yards to catch him.
Or a car.
Yeah. I mean, I was nowhere near the play. It's one of those plays. The linebacker made a good play. He was smart. He pitched it off to someone who could run a little bit faster, and you got to give them credit. They did something different than what we thought they were going to do down in that zone, and it worked to their favor.
Does this team become tougher early because you've won 2 games, close games in the last minute like you have?
I'm not sure. Defense is still going to be the key, to this. Anytime you say Edmonton Eskimos, it's going to be the defense. They've been playing great the beginning part of the year, and offensively, we're just trying to catch up with them. If we start out in blocks like we have been, are we going to be better in the tail end of the season? I don't know yet. Our history has been that we get stronger as the year goes on, and maybe this is a good omen.
Danny, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. And yes, Danny McManus certainly has it going early in this season as the Eskimos, believe it or not, heading home already up 2-0. And Les Brown, you played with him in BC. McManus been known as a pretty clutch player down the stretch, but he's got the great early start.
Well, Danny has played with different coordinators probably since he left BC, and this is his 2nd year in a row with the same offense. And he looks pretty good, and he looks very comfortable sitting back there and completing those passes and finding those receivers like he knows where they're going to be. So that could be a very big plus for Edmonton this year.
No doubt about it, Les. I don't think I've ever seen Danny McManus be this sharp early in the year, and I was really impressed when we interviewed him last week after the game. His character, and then hearing what Coach Lancaster had to say about him, it reminded me of when Ron used to play, because Ron had the same kind of a temperament. He'd throw an interception at you, and he'd come right back at you because it didn't faze him. And if you got the 3rd one, then he might stay away from you.
He was a great interviewer last week. But you know what? Our doctor of dirt, Marty York, has some more stuff out of BC.
No, not Marty.
Well, it's about the Lions. Now, you remember Adam Rita had this reputation of being this real nice fellow, laissez-faire, sit back and relax, right? No more Mr. Nice Guy. Adam Rita is now having some one-on-one sessions with different players. He called in Philpott earlier in the year, and he told him, listen, if you don't shape up, you're gone. This week, he called Sean Millington in. He had a little spat with him. He told Millington that if he doesn't shape up, he can get out. Adam Rita's not like he used to be.
Marty, I think some of that revolves around the fact that Coach Rita is bringing in a new offense, and it's the type of thing he's been used to doing. And I think Sean and Corey, for that matter, have been running the ball so much in their past few years with the BC Lions that they just got to get on the same page, coaching players in this case.
And I think Adam looks at last year and sees that Joe Paopao, who's, I think, a great coach, but he was very relaxed, and it didn't do the job. I think Adam thinks, well, in order to get the job done this year in BC, he's going to have to rule with a more iron fist, which is what somebody should do with less around here.
But why is he calling in the big guns? That's thunder and lightning he's talking to, Yeah. And these guys are not afraid to talk back, Like Millington told him, hey, I've been in the fire for a while. I'm not the one that's going to leave here. It's going to be you or somebody else. So I think that, they have to come to some kind of agreement, get on the same page like Coach was talking about, and start winning some games.
Yeah, well, they won one. They squeaked it out against Calgary last week. It'll be tough in Edmonton. And in the East Division, you can see what's going on now with Montreal and Toronto. We'll be back.
When back pain begins to cramp your style, ordinary pain relievers often aren't enough. Doctors and pharmacists recommend Robactaset. It combines 2 active ingredients, one to relieve your back pain, the other to relax your tense back muscles. Robactaset, helping you walk away from back pain.
Well, now, you sure there's any fish in here at all? Because we haven't latched into one today yet.
Tired of sitting on the sidelines? Want to be part of the game?
Be offensive. Be radical. The CFL is back and more radical than ever. The action never stops. It's hard-hitting, high-scoring football. Get in the game. Wear the attitude. Come on, go, go, go. Woo! Be offensive. Be radical. CFL football. Get in the game. You having more popcorn?
He has shown him many times, and also on defense where Tracy Ham is running wild on him. And, I played against Ham. Tracy Ham can frustrate anybody.
Net yards a little bit embarrassing at 69. Tracy Ham has 3 carries for 41 yards and a touchdown, and his passing numbers have been impressive as well. Over 200 yards passing for Tracy Ham, but the scrambling has really done a job on Calgary's defense.
Well, you know, it's frustrating for a defense when they've covered everyone downfield and then they have the guy cornered in Tracy Ham. He's cornered in the pocket. He finds a way to get out there and deliver the football. That's why right now the Calgary Stampeders have their heads down. I mean, he keeps drives going, and he's put a lot of points on the board and got a good lead for his team, and it's frustrating for this Calgary defense. I'm a little surprised, though, that they haven't bounced back. I mean, I have not seen this from a Calgary team in the last 5 years.
Ham is running like a 22-year-old out there, and the Calgary Stampeders have seen too much Ham here in the opening half. A sports break coming up with Teresa Hergert. By the halftime score with the Alouettes on top 27-1. We knew the Owls had a pretty good football team. We didn't know they'd manhandle the Stampeders quite so easily in game 3 of the season. Ready for the Calgary kickoff. McLaughlin under it. And the Alouettes ready to return, beginning at the 25. Marcus Wall, a couple of receptions in the first half, and here comes Tracy. The run game has been a big part of the Stampeders' success, or the Alouettes' success.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 carries for 41 yards, 1 for 30 for Tracy Ham, and then you see Pringle's numbers. And on those 12 carries, it took at least 3 or 4 Calgary defenders to bring Mike Pringle down. He hasn't been brought down in the first tackler yet tonight.
Let me apologize to Teresa back there at
yeah, you
Sports
better.
Desk Control.
You better.
I know, it's Teresa Cruz. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ham starts off well in the second half as well. Strike on the far side for Jock Climby.
Now, if I'm Calgary's defensive coordinator, I think I'd start to send the house here. I mean, this conservative Calgary defense, which is doing a lot of just dropping all 3 linebackers, is not working so far tonight. Like Bob Wally-Bono, and there's Bob Vespasiani standing on the sideline. They're chatting it over, and I'd send some linebackers to start to make something happen.
Alouettes, another procedure call apparent on 2nd and 2.
Procedure. Montreal number 62. Still 2nd down.
That's Bruce Beaton, an ex-Stampeder.
Bruce Beaton, a couple of key blocks early in the game to spring Mike Pringle, 1 for his touchdown and 1 with Tracy Ham's touchdown. Seen Calgary start his career.
So Montreal looks at 2nd and 7 now. Straight back. It's Armstrong, and he's wrapped up. Brandon Leonard was the 2nd tackler there. And
now you can bet
help initially from Eddie Davis.
Yeah, you can bet that Wally Bono in the locker room went to his defense and said, "We are not tackling very well." Talked it over with them, and that time Eddie Davis executed the perfect form tackling, got help from his friends Darryl Hall and Ken Leonard.
That'll force Montreal into a kicking situation. Baker standing at his 25. 2 deep for the Stampeders, Vaughn and Coleman. Whoa! He sailed this one. That's Terry Vaughn all the way back to the 15. Finds a little seam, and he's to the 30 on a nice little return. And still going. At the 50-yard line. Markers were down back at the 30. So we stopped the play for at least a second. He's a 55-yard return if it stands, but we'll see it's coming back.
The little things for the Calgary Stampeders, and Wally must be pulling some of the... Well, I'll tell you one thing. There's a few more grays in there after tonight.
Major foul. Clipping. Calgary number 35. 1st down.
First of all, Vaughn does a nice job of taking the first hit right there in the pocket, getting that hand down, and then taking off to the outside. And I didn't see where the clipping call came. It was in the backside of the play, but again, unnecessary penalty. That's a big play that maybe gets some momentum back, and Jason Clement just squashes any chance of that. An unnecessary penalty.
So with the penalty, the Stampeders begin at the 17. Garcia still at the control. Calvin Anderson got the first call. Cardinals are tough to run against. Second best defense against the run, allowing just 54 yards a game coming into this tonight.
Yeah, they've drastically improved that from last season, where they were 7th in the league against the run, giving up over 100 yards a game. And part of the reason is Tom Hips. Tom Hips out of the University of Toronto came into camp about 20 pounds heavier, made the play there, and has made a couple tonight.
The game was 2. This is 2nd and 8. Garcia bobbles the ball. It's recovered by Garcia.
Oh, boy.
Doesn't get much worse than this. Larry McSeed had an opportunity, number 31.
Larry McSeed tried to pick it up and run it in, and that's why Garcia out-battled him for the football. But Jeff Garcia is having one of those nights. He's looking downfield, and the ball goes through his hands into between his legs. And see, Larry McSeed tried to scoop it and get into the end zone.
He was already counting his 6 points.
Yeah.
He was going to run it right in. Oh, my. Martino on his goal line. This is right. Back near his 45. He lost it and got it back. That's the way things are going for the Alouettes. Not well at all for the Calgary Stampeders, trailing 27-1 at the Big O.
Play Safeway's all-new $1 million touchdown to win for your chance to win $1 million. If your name appears, it means you have won the Dirt Devil Ultra Swivel Glide Vacuum with maximum vacuum power. The only upright with swivel casters for effortless maneuvering. Nothing escapes the power of a Dirt Devil. Or a Panasonic 20-inch color TV with Panablack Picture 2, 500 lines of resolution. EasyCon on-screen display, game guard, and stereo sound. Panasonic, the TV with all the bright moves. For your chance to win, visit your local Safeway Food and Drug today. TSN and Gatorade want to see your best moves on video. Whatever the sport, whatever the move, we want to see it. Send them into TSN and you can qualify to win a JVC video cam and more. Or we'll videotape your moves at a Gatorade event near you. Check our webpage at tsn.ca/xgames for locations, weekly prizes, and details. We'll show video highlights on our website and the grand prize winner on TSN Sports Desk. Make your move and enter for your chance to win, but hey, keep it safe. No videos of a move that could cause injury.
Wally's had some big days in Olympic Stadium, like the big Grey Cup win in '77 and last year's victory over Montreal here.
There he is.
Circa '79. Still holds the longest punt in Alouette history.
Coming on a little bit of a blitz right here, number 39.
And he got Wilkie.
Flushed Wilkie out of the pocket.
Was that a late hit?
I think it was. I think you mean Wally had a few. Was he a dirty player?
I think Wally was intense.
No, he was intense and very tough. That's how his teams are.
And that's how he coaches most of the time. He's frustrated this night, however. Nothing has gone right for the Stampeders. This is Michael Souls, and he's got about 5.
Michael Souls in the first 2 games was lined up at the outside of the wide receiver position, really never saw the football. I mean, Michael Souls had like 1 carry coming into the football game, but today, especially with some of the injury problems Calgary's had, he's back lined up in his normal position for the most part.
5 yards for Souls, 2nd and 5 for Tracy Ham, who swings it to Pringle, sliding out of the backfield, and he's been almost at the line of scrimmage and dragged down. That's Davis in on that again.
Eddie Davis got the message from Wally Buono in the locker room at halftime about tackling. It's the 2nd time in a row he's come up and held the Montreal Alouettes to short of a first down with some good form tackles.
3rd quarter just underway, and the Stampeders are showing no real signs of coming out of their funk. However, Baker will kick it away, and they'll get another opportunity with Vaughn and Coleman returning. This is Terry Vaughn, and he squeaked through the last time. Decent return here, and good field position for the Stamps near the 45 after a 39-yard punt. Tracy Gravely leading the Montreal tacklers.
How long do we wait till Jeff Garcia gets pulled out? I mean, he is the #1 guy. Dave Dickinson's #2, and you know what? They do have a #3. You see at the very right corner of your screen there, the hat on backwards? That's Danny Barrett.
The emergency quarterback.
The quarterback coach. Now,
quarterback coach.
I've talked to Barrett. He said he stays in shape and in an emergency would put the pads back on. If this continues for Calgary through the first part of the season, it might be emergency time.
Garcia has Vaughn. Vaughn escaped. He'll have a first down. Larry McSeed made the tackle and also let him get away for the first down yardage.
Quite a story, Larry McSeed. He was a safety and a wide receiver in college at Delaware. Comes up, puts on a little bit of weight. He runs a 4.5 in the 40 and could play linebacker, but's fast enough to cover.
He's also the 110-meter hurdle champion down there.
Well, you know you can run if you run the 110-meter hurdles.
Garcia near side. Travis Moore.
And this is really all Jeff Garcia's had to do all game. In the first half, he started getting frustrated and throwing that ball deep, but right now, he just takes what the Montreal Alouettes give him, throw it underneath, let his receivers run for some yards, and just get a sustained drive going and some confidence back to his offensive unit.
Gain of 6. This will be 2nd and 4. Stampeders on a bit of a roll here early in the third quarter. Great catch, and they call him inbounds. That's Travis Moore. Is he out?
Now they're giving him the catch.
I thought so.
Yeah, Anthony Drawhorn came down to cover on Travis Moore. He's had to play the halfback. The injury to Ken Watson early in the first half, so it's a pretty good catch because Drawhorn's hand was right in his face.
Vaughn to the near side. Travis Moore with 3 other receivers to the far side. Wide heart of the field as Garcia goes back on his heels and fired too long, intending for Vaughn.
Well, Garcia went with 2 outs in a row. Quick out to Travis Moore, quick out to Travis Moore, and this time to Terry Vaughn. He tried to go with the out and up. But Douglas Kraft, who is a veteran in this league, was not having any part of it. Didn't bite on the out. He stayed on the up.
Yards is not enough.
No, it's not going to get her done. And the big donut where the TDs should go.
Not enough. Garcia has Danielson.
You know, and this is the type of drive he needs. He throws that out to Danielson. A couple of short patterns, just enough for the first down. I mean, not a tough play. Here's Danielson just going to run and turn to the outside. Good throw. Jeff Garcia steps up in the pocket. Danielson gets the first down, the extra yard on his own.
Best drive all night long for the Stampeders. Set up at the 35, first down. Garcia can't get away. 5th sack of the season for Garcia. Randolph is there to register his first.
Well, quarterbacks and receivers always have to be in the same page, and when the blitz is coming, they have to read it and either alter their patterns or pick them up. And you see Vince Danielson trying to come down on Alfred Payton, number 88 there. Didn't get there in time. He didn't read the blitz as quickly as Garcia did. Randolph and Alfred Payton get in the backfield.
Loss is 4, 2nd and 14, Calgary. Garcia gets another charge. Escaped. He'll get the first down out of this play. And down to the 5-yard line. Fred Bailey.
Fred Bailey is the
great speed.
Yeah, the 5th receiver. When Gerald Wilcox retired last week, Fred Bailey was put on the roster. He's got tremendous speed. He's the inside receiver right there, and is just going to keep working across the middle to help his quarterback out. You see Jeff Garcia's in trouble now, so he heads to the open area. Torrey Hunter can't keep up with him and then breaks that tackle.
Stampeders are set up. 1st and goal to go inside the 5-yard line. Trailing by a bunch. Garcia needs the end zone here. And he's he's got it. A great drive by the Stampeders. Danielson finishes it out. Vince Danielson.
Now this is the Jeff Garcia we're used to seeing. A good drive, made all the right reads, protected the football. He stepped up and threw it like we've seen him in the past, and this is a perfect strike to Vince Danielson, who runs the corner route on Spencer McLennan. He had to come up and cover the 5th receiver out. Danielson was it, and that ball was right on the spot.
First touchdown of the season for Vince Danielson, who missed week 1 and caught 8 for 89 yards in week 2. So that was vintage Garcia.
They're going to go for 2 points now, being down 27-7. As many points as they can get. Try and come back to this football game. And there is tons of time left.
Still almost 7 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Garcia running for his life. Payton got him and forced the throw out of bounds. Alfred Payton on Garcia. The 2-point attempt is unsuccessful. But the touchdown is what was really important to the Stampeders to get back on track. Garcia to Danielson, 6 points.
There was a time when batteries had a simple job. But the world has changed since then.
That looked a little bit more like it for the Calgary Stampeders, a 54-yard touchdown march. Jeff Garcia got on 4 of 5 during the drive. And the gap is closed to 20 points. Stampeder kickoff. Good return going for Marcus Wall. Out to the 50-yard line. He just loped along. And all of a sudden, the Alouettes have terrific field position. 7 plays to cover 68 yards. Real Danielson with a 4-yard reception.
Real good job for Jeff Garcia in what may have been his last chance to come out and to do a good job. This is Danielson's going to work to the corner right there. And watch the throw. Right to the outside where Vince Danielson can catch it. And McLennan can't get his hands on it.
Spencer couldn't touch it. Mike Pringle around the left side.
We'll talk about getting momentum back, John. Right on the next kickoff, Marcus Wall takes it to midfield.
What happened on the convert? That was a mess.
The convert was a play that you just take out of the playbook and file under. Not going to work.
We won't try this again.
This was the convert, and you could see the wave of blue jerseys. Montreal was coming with the blitz. Doug Peterson, Swift Birch, and of course Alfred Payton with the good speed to the outside, and that was just desperation time for Jeff Garcia.
Alouettes, 2nd and 5. Inside the Calgary 45. And on target, Jock Clowney. Like the way he plays football.
Well, I got to look to the backside of the play here, and this is not typical Calgary defense. Watch, the ball goes outside. Now watch the linebacking core. If you can just see them right there, they're jogging. Guys are jogging on the football field, and this is an aggressive Calgary defense in the past that right now are jogging around, and Jock Clowney picks up some extra yards.
25 yards. Alouettes now at the Stampeder 19. 1st and 10. Ham has all kinds of time, has a target, and catch couldn't be made by Clowney that time.
He took a stiff hit from Anthony McClanahan, but boy, Tracy Ham had all day. He looked at every single one of his receivers downfield. See, Ray Bernard has had to come in for the injured Elijah Johnson to play the middle.
It'll be 2nd and 10. Alouettes. Calgary 19, Montreal leading 27-7. Chris Wright. Let's bring in Michael Whalen.
Well, John, they're going to have to do, I'm talking about Calgary, they're going to have to do this, stop this drive by Montreal. Without the services of Alondra Johnson, he has a pull hamstring and he's gone for the game, John.
That happened in the first half. And as Glenn was mentioning, that means Ray Bernard, an old teammate, gets to play.
And he can get it done. 1993 in Saskatchewan, led the league in tackles.
Alouettes looking at 3rd and 1. And should have the first down.
Well, I think they're going to get it on
10.
I think they're going to get it on the penalty, yeah. Calgary was offside. You get down in that half-foot line, you try and anticipate the snap count.
That's the initial indication. Stampeders offside.
Offside. Calgary number 84. First down.
I don't see an 84. 94 is Traversy.
Jeff Traversy is up on the front. 94 and tried to anticipate the snap count. Tracy Ham staggered it. Pulled him offside.
So the Alouettes have 3 cracks at it from the 5-yard line. First and goal. Ham trying to find a receiver. He's been running like this all night, folks. Like a 22-year-old again. And he missed the target that time.
He ran a marathon.
I think maybe he just fired it into the turf.
He ran a marathon on that play. First of all, initially he has lots of time, but it's good coverage by Calgary downfield. Has really no one to throw to, and then the chase begins. See Marvin Pope out there, and Dwayne Patterson start running them down, and I think Dwayne Patterson probably did the best thing. Take a shot at him, dive, and if you miss him, well, at least you don't have to chase him all over the field. Ray Bernard came out of his coverage to finally try and get some pressure on Ham, but he is running like the old Tracy Ham.
In his 11th year in the league.
You know, you think...
Pretty amazing story when you think about it.
Yeah, you think back to, there's a guy that twice in his career was over 1,000 yards rushing, including 1989 when he led Edmonton to 16-2 season.
He was the MVP that year.
Yeah, most valuable player in the league that year, and had over 1,000 yards rushing and 4,000 yards passing. I mean, there's the all-time list. Tracy Ham leads it. That thing, that's updated, including tonight's game. So
those 2 guys on the top are going to run till they drop. I don't think anybody's going to give up until Tracy Ham retired briefly at the end of last season. He lasted, well, he lasted the off-season in retirement.
Now Jeff Traversy, another Calgary Stampeders that are going to head to the sideline injured. When you have to trace Tracy Ham all over the field, you start to get sore and muscles you never knew you had.
They're looking at a problem with the turf in the end zone down there. The joint's falling apart.
I thought this turf was wrinkle-free.
It's not anymore. The Big O in Montreal will fix it up, hopefully, and return to the CFL Live. Montreal leading the way.
Play Safeway's $1 Million Touchdown to Win. If your name appears, you've won a fabulous trip for 2 to Puerto Vallarta, staying for 7 nights at the beautiful Villas Vallarta Hotel, courtesy of World of Vacations, Canada's #1 tour operator to the sun. $1 Million Touchdown to Win at Safeway Food and Drug. Play Safeway's all-new $1 Million Touchdown to Win. Participating products include Campbell's Chunky Soup, Glad Easy Tie Garbage Bags, Heinz Ketchup. Don't forget to look for this month's coupon book. Safeway Food and Drug, today's better way.
Donovan Bailey loves the 100. The Maple Leaf 100% all-meat Frankfurter. They aren't like typical all-beef hot dogs because all beef isn't always all meats. Maple Leaf 100s are 100% all meat and seasonings only, with no fillers, byproducts, or MSG. Donovan knows the 100 is the only one that counts. Maple Leaf 100, because all beef isn't always all meat.
Well, now, are you sure there's any fish in here at all? Because we haven't latched into one today yet.
Tired of sitting on the sidelines? Want to be part of the game?
Be offensive. Be radical. The CFL is back and more radical than ever. The action never stops. It's hard-hitting, high-scoring football. Get in the game. Wear the attitude. Come on, go, go, go. Be offensive. Be radical. CFL football. Get in the game.
You have any more popcorn?
Great golf coverage ahead on TSN beginning Thursday. The U.S. Women's Open round 1. And that's from Ohio, so catch that live on TSN this week. There's a problem with the artificial turf at Olympic Stadium.
Someone summoned an iron.
What is that, third base?
You can get an iron in there and just flatten out the wrinkles.
Trying to stitch things back together, so there's a timeout. And it's nice to see the panel all dressed up tonight.
Yeah. Made the trip to Montreal.
They're looking good.
And brought all their friends.
Well,
Obi, I thought the Stampeders were going to show up tonight.
Holy cow, I wore this red jacket. I think I wore the wrong jacket tonight, but it's interesting to see now that we have a new wrinkle developing in this ball game.
Oh, Obi. There you go.
He keeps us cracked up back here, John.
No, we didn't want to say it because it's the too obvious one.
Gord Miller, eat your heart out.
We had an accident like this happen, and we played in the Sky Dome. That's what you get when you play on these baseball fields that are turned into football fields. Rod Hill happened to step on one of those pieces right there that they're pounding on, and it fell straight through. Now, can you imagine if somebody's foot was in there?
I also remember in Olympic Stadium, Terry Greer, a great receiver, he was diving for a ball, and they had nails holding down the turf at that time, and it actually cut a big cut on there. You might remember that, Marty, and you had to wear an elbow pad the rest of the season.
I'll let Marty remember that, Coach.
I was there, and I do remember it. I would like to ask Glenn Suter a question.
What's the question?
Glenn, I'm wondering if you talked to the players. Did they say they miss John Hufnagel in Calgary?
Well, I mean, there's no question, but I think the changes that they've had to deal with and trying to get some chemistry, Marty, to me is the big reason Wally's struggling early in the season. And he downplays the changes. You know, they lost 3 on the D-line, and that hurts them on defense and all the experience there. And, of course,
and the two great slot backs.
Yeah, the 2 slot backs. And they haven't gelled, and they haven't made the plays to win football games. And yes, John Hufnagel is a big loss, but I don't see that this offense is all that much different, you know, scheme-wise than it was last year. They're just not getting the execution out of it that they are having the problem with. And again, we've talked about it all game, but it's the missed opportunities that Wally looks back at game tape and says, it's amazing. I mean, we look back at this stat again, 117 minutes, 55 seconds. They've had the lead in those 2 games.
No question about it, though, with John Hufnagel not around anymore with the Calgary Stampeders. It is a big adjustment for this team to make because he was one of the best offensive coaches.
There's no question about it.
Never came down the pike in this league.
But it's the guys on the field that win and lose, not the coaches. And yes, he's a great coach, but I think the changes is the difference.
Well, we're ready to go. And the Alouettes are set up at the 5-yard line. Here's Ham escaping one more time. There's the touchdown. Michael
Souls got out in front. Pringle both escaped, but it's the ability of Tracy Ham to buy some time because, again, he was caught in the backfield. Somehow got out of there.
Another wonderful march by Tracy Ham as the Alouettes pad their lead. It's 33-7. And Baker will add one more right here. You think we'll see Graves in this ball game? Not for a while, I don't imagine.
Probably not. I just want to throw one quick question to Les Brown because he's had to play against Tracy Ham as I've had to. Have you ever seen him run like the last couple of years? He hasn't run as much. He looks like the old Tracy Ham to me.
You know, Glenn, that is so true because Tracy, I had talked to him once before, and he had told me that he was getting old. He didn't feel like he had to run as much. He wanted to be the passer instead of the runner. But I think that he finally realized that his whole package is revolves around running the ball and throwing the ball.
His game is a lot to do with the run. There's no question about it.
And this touchdown, the key is the run. Anthony McClanahan off the edge has him dead to rights. He beats him cleanly and then throws him the end zone.
And you know, Glenn, he is so happy to be back in Montreal and to be back in the CFL and playing football again.
And I'll tell you somebody who's even happier, Coach Ritchie.
All right, guys,
Can
if
you
the turf...
imagine this team without him?
No. If the turf breaks, we'll call you in again. It may happen. We'll catch you at the end of the game. Coleman returning. He escaped and dragged one tackler across the 50-yard line.
Marvin Coleman's trying to do his best to try and get Calgary a little bit of something positive happening, and a nice return off the kickoff return. Garcia put a good drive together last time out, and Tracy Ham answered.
Lots to smile about at the Alouettes bench. There's a good-looking offense and a good-looking football team Dave Ritchie has put together, with a few subtle changes from '96. Garcia on first downs. Garcia takes off. He hasn't run a great deal. He's a pretty gifted running quarterback.
Yeah, he is a good running quarterback. I mean, last year he rushed for more yards than Tracy Ham. And we've seen what he can do now. Having said that, last year Tracy Ham had a back problem and really didn't run all that much, but Jeff Garcia can run the football. He likes to scramble to buy time, but he can't take off and run with it.
He grabbed 9. This is 2nd and 1. Garcia in behind his big center, Jamie Crysdale, for the first down. And the Alouettes scoring drive looked like this. 7 plays to cover 50 yards.
It all started with a good return by Marcus Wall right after Calgary Stampeders scored a touchdown and maybe have a little momentum back. Marcus Wall takes it away from him with a good return, and then Tracy Ham puts that 7-play drive together to answer.
First down, Stampeders at the Alouette 48. Garcia to his right, and he'll take off again. The run is working effectively for Calgary now. Garcia about halfway to a first down as he's out on the far side.
Well, Garcia rolling to the outside that time. Really didn't have anyone downfield that was open. Vince Danielson had a shot. He was open momentarily, but Garcia just not the Garcia we're used to seeing. I mean, Danielson opened up briefly. He just didn't want to throw it in there and put it under his arm and took off.
He wasn't sharp early, but he looked
had one
more like his old self on that last drive, and it was 4 of 5, 54 yards. Second down, and wide open is Danielson going to the end zone. McClennan grabbed him at the 5-yard line.
Oh, this is a bust, and the veteran picks it up. Vince Danielson sees what's happening with the defense, and that he's not picked up and starts waving. Danielson's going to sneak inside right here. No one picks him up. There's a miscue. You see Spencer McClennan got all tied up with Tracy Gravely. Danielson picks it up, breaks off his pattern, heads right down the middle for the big play for Calgary.
37 yards for Danielson on the reception and run from Jeff Garcia. Stands up 3 cracks at it from the 5. Garcia trying to flip it ahead. They call it intentionally grounding the ball. Now he had a receiver in the area.
They're excited about Larry McSeed here in Montreal. He's got great speed. We've talked about him a little bit tonight already. And he's going to provide the pressure. Here he is right here coming off the edge. Watch the speed. He's going to drop. See the Garcia. His man is blocking so he can run. And watch him just track Garcia down.
Stampeders are going to think about this. 36 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, and Wally
was not happy.
Not happy at the timeout call.
No. 10 plays ago in the Mosquito. Tony Marciano was getting an earful on the sideline. He was the one with the headset on originally that Wally was yelling at. I don't think he
way from a full house, but it's a noisy building right now. Guano looks on. Stampeders, 2nd and goal to go at the Alouette 5. They really have to punch one in here in the final seconds of the 3rd quarter. 34-7, Montreal leading Calgary. Garcia can't find a receiver. Now something opens near the back of the end zone, and Vaughn can't bring it home.
Jeff Garcia is not comfortable in the pocket, John. I talked to him. Watch, he gets a shotgun snap, and there's no reason for him to start hopping around and jumping to his right like that. He has great protection downfield, and when he takes off to the right, Terry Vaughn comes and tries to make the spectacular catch for him, but Garcia does not have to run out of there like that. Now, when he does, he eliminates a whole side of the field. Now he's limited to one side of the field and basically one receiver, and he can't get it to him.
One more crack at it. 3rd and goal to go. Stampeders at the Alouette 5. Garcia tries this side. Now they converge. Oh! Touchdown. It was tipped ahead, and the catch is made in the end zone. Somehow Garcia got it through.
Oh, boy. What a catch by Travis Moore. My goodness.
A little lucky on that one.
Well, he was flat on his back.
And it just landed on his, well, landed in his mitts is where it landed.
Well, Garcia was all over the place, scrambling around, and wow, what a catch.
Good job, man. Good job. Good job. Good job, man. Good job, guys.
Straight concentration and just sticking with it from Travis Moore.
They'll settle for 1. After the 2-point convert failed earlier. Well, a little saving grace for the Stampeders on the final play of quarter number 3. Stampeders have closed to within 20 points now, 34-14. And Travis Moore
take a look at
has
this
his
catch.
2nd catch for a touchdown this season. Watch one more time. It's tipped right to Travis Moore.
One-hander.
Like that.
Welcome back to CFL Live after 3 quarters, and maybe a sample of what the Calgary offense needs right now. A little bit of lady luck along the way, but a couple of touchdowns for the Stamps in this quarter, Obi, and showing at least a sign of life.
Well, they have. At least Jeff Garcia now is doing his role with the Stampeder offense. Tracy's been scrambling all over the place and making great plays to get the Alouettes into the end zone. Now you'll see Garcia here make a good play. He steps up in the pocket to avoid the rush, finds an open guy, gets him down into the scoring area, and then on the very next play gets him into the end zone. So these are the kind of things that he's going to have to do if they have any hopes of trying to pull this out. And stranger things have happened this season thus far, so if he can keep making these plays, who knows?
Bob, you're dreaming. This game's over.
Only Marty could be that lucky.
Yeah,
right?
I know, to make a call like that.
Not a chance.
You know, I got a feeling, though, they were lucky. The 2nd touchdown, they threw it down the middle, a busted coverage in the secondary, gave him a chance to get down there in the scoring zone. And then a deflected pass by Tom Hips. Again, this guy's probably got more knockdowns in the game than all the defensive backs, and he knocks it right into the guy's hand who's laying on the ground. So, you know, you got, but they say you got to be a little bit good to be a little bit lucky, so maybe that's what's happening to him right now.
Well, that was a fantastic catch. I mean, Moore was going the other way and came back and one-handed it. I mean, tremendous play, you know, unordinary.
Gentlemen, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the attendance a little bit. I mean, yes, the Alouettes are doing very well on the field, but they've only drawn 7,669 people today. I guess that's a step in the right direction, if you want to stretch it, in that it's an improvement over last week's attendance, but still, it's a far cry from, obviously, from what...
I think if there were more fans there, maybe they could have electrified their team to come up big on that 3rd down play.
Well, you know, I don't know if the Alouettes need a lot of help from the fans, except for the financial end of it, but Montreal's still very much in control and leading by 20. Back to the Big O now.
And here's the kickoff for the final quarter at Olympic Stadium. Good return going for the Alouettes again. This is the newcomer, Marcus Wall. Darryl Hall made the tackle. Marcus Wall.
Receivers over here.
Making his first start.
Jeff Garcia is going to take a pretty good hit from Larry McSeed after he throws this football. See Birch coming in there and diving. And there comes the hit right there from Larry McSeed. You know, there's a new category in the CFL. It's called forced fumbles, and he leads the way in it. Just a couple of games, and then see Garcia. How's it go? You'd rather be good to be lucky or lucky to be, yeah, I can't remember. But anyways, it was a bit lucky.
One way or the other it fits, I think.
It was a bit lucky, but they'll take it, I'm sure, in Calgary.
On first down, it's Pringle. Nice 34-yard kick return.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, first touchdown for Calgary. Marcus Wall comes back, gets the momentum back, and then Ham puts a drive together. And now it seems to have happened again because after a 6-play, 58-yard scoring drive from Garcia, the big play going, of course, to Vince Danielson down the middle. Now Ham's got the ball back in pretty good field position again because of Marcus Wall.
Closing in on midfield are the Alouettes on second down and 7. And Ham got away. Now he lost the ball. It's loose, picked up by the Stampeders. And it's Daryl Hall now coming up with the ball.
Little rugby.
After Pope got the initial fumble, and it looked a little like rugby afternoon out there.
Well, it's a safety blitz from the Calgary Stampeders. Greg Knox had come up and was going on the blitz. It's number 8. You're going to see him come into your screen late as Tracy Ham starts to scramble around. Now, there's Greg Knox. He goes down. The ball hits the turf.
Nice bounce to Pope.
Pretty athletic move from a defensive lineman. Little pitch out there, and then a little fake rugby action down the sideline.
Daryl Hall taking it.
Got a whole quarter to go.
Final 2 yards. I brought Richie Hall out of retirement there briefly.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Richie Hall was a little shorter.
Let's see what the Stampeders can do near the 35. Garcia forced it a bit, but he got it through. And now it goes right back to Montreal. Joseph Rogers couldn't hang on.
Yeah, he took a hit from Larry McSeed again, who has been all over the field. Blitzing Garcia, dropping into coverage. That time he dropped and he came up and hit Joseph Rogers right between the solar plexus. Watch the hit. You're going to see with 31 just flash when that ball comes inside right there, right in the back.
Second and 5. Garcia will have the first down. Run a little bit more in the second half. 34-14, 12:51 to go in the final quarter in Montreal.
Well, Jeff Garcia's come back a little bit better in the second half. I think it's fair to say. He
Substantially so.
Yeah.
Somehow they have to score twice in a row, though, to catch these guys. 3 times in a row, actually. Down by 20. Garcia, man open over the middle. Travis Moore.
Just a zone defense. When you play a zone defense, quarterback is told just to throw it underneath in front of the linebackers. One guy breaks a tackle, you get a big yardage out of it. It's awfully tough to break his tackle, though. He's one of the best.
This is second and 7. Garcia being chased by Payton. He got rid of him. Now there's a wide open field to the other side. A man open at the line. It's picked up. Danielson was the intended receiver. And another drive ends for Jeff Garcia.
Herb Smith was sitting back there waiting, and Garcia never saw him.
Another drive doesn't materialize for the hard luck Stampeders.
Play Safeway's all-new $1 million touchdown to win for your chance to win $1 million. If your name appears, it means you have won VTEC's 2-line digital cordless telephone with name and number call display featuring digital 900 megahertz clarity, range, and security. Call display shows time and date and stores the last 99 incoming calls. Or the Samsonite Easy Card, the amazing suitcase that puts the weight on 4 wheels and not you. 4-wheel stability assures effortless maneuverability. Easy Card, the case that does everything but pack itself. For your chance to win, visit your local Safeway Food and Drug today.
Excuse me, would you like to make a long-distance call?
And I'm watching the game here.
Go ahead.
Is this some kind of a joke? Hi, Dad. It's me, Bob. Don't be afraid of the ball. I'm watching Maddie play. Well, oh, that's it. A double. Say hi to your grandpa when you slide. The kid is a natural. He just needs a little bit of tinkering. Like me, a natural. Lead. Take a lead. I'm not smothering him. No, because you always had me lead too far. What? Oh, he's doing it. He just stole third.
There's always something to say long distance. What are you waiting for?
Did you hear that? You'll make more if you pitch.
The NBA Finals, the World Series, the Stanley Cup Finals, the Daytona 500, and the Super Bowl. Until now, there was only one man behind the scenes at every event. His name is Bill. He delivers the Gatorade. Twist off a winning cap, and you too are headed to all 5 of the greatest sporting events of the year, just like Bill, without all that heavy lifting.
Irv Smith, first interception of the season for Montreal. He has 13 career coming into this game. And 6 last year.
The great ones, John, know where the receivers are. Don't have to go and stand beside him. Garcia scrambles around, and he has plenty of time to throw it now. He sees Vince Danielson open. What he didn't see was Irv Smith hanging out there on the sideline.
And it was a great catch. Mike Pringle, left side, great speed. Knox comes over to slow him down. The Stampeders finally catch up. Mike Pringle. Nice play there, but the catch on the goal line was equally beautiful.
Mike Pringle has the ball because of this interception, and it was a really nice catch. But see, Garcia saw Danielson open up there, but what he didn't see is right over by the numbers. Irv Smith was sitting there waiting. He went, oh, where did he come from? And that kind of day from the 7th.
Alouettes right along midfield, just inside Stampeder territory at the 54. Another loose ball. Michael Souls lost it. Stampeders say it's theirs, and that's the official ruling. So the turnover goes right back the other way. And the Stampeders are about 40 yards away from where they were a few minutes ago.
I don't know that Michael Souls got the handle on this one from the beginning of the play. He's just going to turn around. Simple trap play. Oh, he did get it right there, and it was stripped. Looked like he was sort of bobbling it, but he had it under that right arm, and then I think it was Ernie Brown got his left arm in there. Yeah. 2 fumbles back to back, and Calgary couldn't take advantage of the first one. See if they can this time.
From the 50, first down Calgary. Far side, Garcia has Rogers.
Late flag over there, John. Late flag on the sideline. Seemed like something after the fact. Get a little extra yards. Joseph Rogers was pushed when he was way out of bounds. Fred Childress is in there trying to persuade them. Doesn't look too happy. This one might be coming back.
Objectionable conduct. Calgary number 80. 2nd down.
Oftentimes it goes against the tackling player.
Toss the ball back.
But Rogers apparently lost it here.
Well, here's the end of the play. He's going to get pushed out right there fairly aggressively, I would say, with the forearm to the chops. And I think right after that play, Rogers pushed Douglas Kraft, and that's where the penalty flag was thrown.
He threw the ball at Kraft, apparently. So now it's 2nd and 10. Here's Garcia. And it'll be a first down. Stampeders out at the 45-yard line. As Marcus Wall, or Fred Bailey, rather, makes the catch.
Yeah, what they did there is they tried to layer the zone defense, have Fred Bailey a little deeper behind the linebacking core. Fred Bailey's the second guy in the pattern. He's deeper. Vince Danielson underneath. They layer him. Bailey opens up. Or Bailey, excuse me.
Long toss. Rogers made the catch. Did he stay in?
Well, that was the play that they threw to Joseph Rogers on the sideline when he got the objectional call, and you know that's going to drive Wally Buono nuts. You know, even in the game, even if this game is out of reach, it's those little things. He's talked about them all week. Little things, a penalty here and there, a drop here and there. Hurt him again tonight.
Second down. And 10 to go. Stampeders are at the Alouettes 39. Garcia looking for Vaughn. And Vaughn draws a penalty marker. Coverage on Irv Smith.
Well, Irv Smith got caught grabbing. No question about it. Good call by the official. I don't know that Terry Vaughn would have been able to run under that one anyway. It was thrown way out in front of him. But there was definitely a grab. It was clear as day.
Illegal contact. Montreal, number 21. First down.
So you can defend your ground up in the line of scrimmage as long as you keep the receiver in front of you. As soon as he gets to the side of you and you still have your hands on him and are grabbing him, it's interference, and that's a good call by the official.
9-11 on Wally Bueno's clock right now, remaining in the fourth quarter. 34 for the Alouettes, 14 for the Stampeders, who have an opportunity to get to the end zone again. Garcia has Rogers. Rogers can't get away from the first tackler. He's down to the 25.
Well, I'm a little surprised the Calgary Stampeders aren't in their hurry-up offense, and I think they're going to start to go to it now because, you know, down by 20 points with 8 minutes left, there still is time to score 3 times, but you have to get going. No huddles now. There they go.
Second and 6, Stampeders. Garcia, after a slow start, has been better in the second half. Quarterback draw, that's going nowhere. Maybe a yard past the line.
Seed again, flying around the football. He's been all over the place tonight, makes another tackle.
Another marker down, Suits.
Here he is right here, just follow number 31. Watch the quickness and the flow, the scrape. They call it the scrape to the football.
Montreal, number 57. Repeat, second down.
Slides right across the face of Jamie Crysdale and makes another good tackle.
Peyton got an early start for the Alouettes. So the Stampeders get a minor break here, looking at second down, about 1.5 yards.
A long yard. Do you try and run for it, or do you put it in the air?
A couple of cracks at it. They'll take what they can get when they can get it. First down, Calgary.
Good surge by the offensive line. Jeff Garcia got that by, it was a long yard away and got it a long yard the other way. That made sense.
I think I follow. And they're into the hurry-up offense now. At the Alouette 18, first down. Garcia trying the same deal. And he's wrapped up by Doug Peterson. On time and fired to the turf.
Guys, talking about Doug Peterson with the coaching staff and with Jim Popp, he said, you know, he's the nicest guy you can meet. He's right here. Nicest guy that you can meet when he's off the field. He's going to run a little stunt, but when he gets on the field, it's like every play is a barroom brawl. He's one of the toughest guys he's ever met.
Second and 11. Garcia has Danielson. He's down to the 10.
There's no question it's 3-down football for the Calgary Stampeders now. They got to just keep gambling. They were a long yard the first gamble.
This is a long 2.
This is a long 2 yards.
And third down.
You're looking at 2 yards against this defense, Montreal. You really got to put the ball in the air.
No question about it. They have to go. Third and 2. All of the Alouette 10. Stampeders running out of opportunities. They'll get a first down inside the 5 as Travis Moore brought it in.
Well, Anthony Drawhorn has to play inside because that's the easier throw of the 2. He has to protect the inside of the field. Travis Moore breaks to the out. Drawhorn just chases him down, and that's really all you can do down there on the goal line. As a defensive back, you have to protect the inside of the field. It's a quick throw for the quarterback, and that means that you give up the out a little bit, and that's what happened there for Drawhorn.
Another injured player on the field. It's been a hard-hitting ball game, and I think
Alfred Payton
a little warm down there.
I've seen a lot of guys line on the turf, but both quarterbacks have been doing a pretty good job running around. Garcia in the second half and Tracy Ham pretty much all game, so defensive linemen get tired. Dave Ritchie's up by 20 points.
And he's yelling. He's angry.
6:19 left, and you certainly can't tell by looking at him.
Well, this is game 1 of week 3. And the remainder of the week is on TSN. Joining us tomorrow night from Commonwealth in Edmonton, Gord Miller and Glenn Suter. And the Friday night affair, Blue Bombers and the Tiger Cats, both looking for their first win. Lee Pedersen, Dave Archer will join me at Ivor Wynn for that. Are you back in Regina again?
Going back to Regina, and I'm looking forward to that game. Good defense out there in Saskatchewan, and of course, everyone talking about whether or not the Argos could maybe have the perfect season. And
I don't think they're going to have a perfect season.
There's a lot of season left, and I'm sure there's 7 other teams that have something to say about it, but they look pretty good in Toronto. I mean, any team with Doug Clooney looks good.
No doubt about that. Garcia hands it off to Anderson, and Anderson has the touchdown. Kelvin Anderson. And that drive looked a little easier than some of the other offensive schemes the Stampeders were trying to make work earlier.
Well, they're getting that Montreal defense on the field a little bit longer now, keeping the football, putting a couple drives together, and Montreal's had a couple of turnovers, so that defense looked a little bit tired on that series, and Kelvin Anderson took advantage of it, found the bubble, and hit it in there for a touchdown.
Good job, Logan. Come on, let's go. Good drive. Good drive.
Now a 13-point ball game. 2 Stampeder touchdowns, and they can win it. If the Alouettes don't score anymore, it's 34-21. Montreal leading as Garcia gets the Stamps in the end zone once more.
Hey, that's great. But who are the chefs?
Not going anywhere for a while?
Great googly moogly.
Grab a Snickers.
You spell it.
Yeah.
Oh, for... You know, if you don't take care of your car, you won't be seeing too much this summer. So get to Midas first. Right now, they'll give your car a lube oil and filter, inspect the cooling system, check all fluids, rotate your tires, set tire pressure, and check all lights, hoses, and belts. All for just $34.95. Plus, you'll get a free written inspection of your brakes. It's the way it should be. Midas. I think it's clearing up.
The legends of the game will come out swinging in Dearborn, Michigan at the Ford Senior Players Championship. Defending champ Raymond Floyd headlines a stellar field. The Ford Senior Players Championship. Coverage begins Thursday on TSN.
The British Open. Coverage begins July 17th on TSN.
Stampeders have scored. They're within 13. Still a long way to come back. Interesting formation as they get set to kick it back. Onside to Montreal. The onside kick. And it goes 10 yards and out of bounds.
It's an illegal kick because it went out of bounds before it touched the turf or anybody on the turf.
Hensey Charles went up to try and touch it for Baltimore, or for, there I've gone to Baltimore. Montreal.
Not only that, but Calgary was also too quick to cross the line.
"11 plays, 60 yards at a time of 4:57. Anderson from 4 yards out.
Well, Kelvin Anderson only has 20 yards rushing in this game and likely won't have it handed to him very much more. This team down the way they are, 34-21. Going to be in the air the rest of this game.
Alouettes Beginning at the 52, first down. Tracy Ham has done a masterful job tonight, putting 34 points on the board. Mike Pringle nailed in his tracks by Pope.
You know, all the difference a couple of drives makes for a defense. You know, you come out there, you think you still have a chance to win the football game. You get a little fired up, and Marvin Pope is definitely that right now. He just slashes through the play, blows up Bruce Beaton on the block. Makes a great tackle on Mike Pringle.
A little more like the big daddy of old, Marvin Pope, on that play. Second and a bunch. Ham, target over the middle. It's Armstrong. Chris Armstrong. Second in receiving for the Alouettes coming into this one tonight.
Calgary's trying to take some chances now with 4:44 left. They're putting everything on the line and sending it. See Ray Bernard up there. Anthony McClenahan's coming on the blitz. Pringle tries to pick him up, but you get a lick on Tracy Ham when he throws the football.
Third down.
After the loss, they had a lot to make up. Armstrong couldn't get them.
Baker has punted the stuffing out of the ball tonight. Back near his 40. Too deep for Calgary. Vaughn and Coleman.
Both those guys can break them.
And might be overdue. Coleman. Marvin Coleman out to about the 26, and that's where the Stampeders and Jeff Garcia will begin again. They're down by 13 with 4:16 to play.
Donovan Bailey loves the 100. The Maple Leaf 100% all-meat Frankfurter. They aren't like typical all-beef hot dogs because all beef isn't always all meats. Maple Leaf 100s are 100% all meat and seasonings only, with no fillers, byproducts, or MSG. That's why Donovan loves finishing a 100. Maple Leaf 100s, because all beef isn't always all meat.
Excuse me, would you like to make a long-distance call?
I'm watching the game here.
Go ahead.
Is this some kind of a joke? Hi, Dad. It's me, Bob. Don't be afraid of the ball. I'm watching Maddie play. Well, oh, that's it. A double. Say hi to your grandpa when you slide. The kid is a natural. He just needs a little bit of tinkering. Like me, a natural. Lead. Take a lead. I'm not smothering him. No, because you always had me lead too far. What? Oh, he's doing it. He just stole third.
There's always something to say long distance. What are you waiting for?
Did you hear that? You'll make more if you pitch.
Give me a break, make it clean, make it cold. Give me a McCain iced tea break.
Take a refreshing break from summertime heat with frozen concentrated iced tea from McCain. McCain iced tea, caffeine-free, no powdery taste. A refreshing thirst-quenching beverage made with the essence of unique tea blends.
Give me a break, make it clean, make it cold.
McCain iced tea, no caffeine, no powdery taste. Great tasting refreshment down to a tea.
Well, there's enough time to score a couple of touchdowns. The question is, can the Stampeders get the offense together one more time, score two quick ones, and win by a point?
Plenty of time. Calvin Anderson likely won't be taking too many handoffs, but he'll be looked upon to catch a couple out of the backfield, I'm sure.
Alouettes leading by 13. Garcia close to a first down with that completion out near the 35 to Fred Bailey. So far, it looks like this. Garcia, slow start. Ham, a hot start.
A lot of that 133 rushing yards for Montreal from Tracy Ham.
On second down and a yard to go, Anderson bowls his way through, and that'll be a first down Calgary as this drive inches along.
What's amazing, we've seen a lot of these kind of games. You read those stats, 44 yards rushing for Calgary, way below their average, but one score here and we got to finish.
On first down, far sideline, big hit. Travis Moore was nailed trying to make that catch.
Okay, you got to love this game.
Douglas Kraft?
No, this game. Football, you got to love this game. Listen to this hit from Douglas Kraft.
Who was yelling? Everybody cheering
the
on
whole
the far
bench
side.
was cheering it on.
2nd and 10, Garcia trying to buy some time. Vaughn can't make the catch, and a big hit on him. That's by the rookie, Torrey Hunter. Couple of big hits by the Montreal defense. First Douglas Kraft, and then the new guy, Torrey Hunter.
Is your life boring? Are you tired of the same old thing?
Suck it up. Get in the game. The CFL is back and more radical than ever. The action never stops. It's hard-hitting, high-scoring football. Get in the game. Wear the attitude.
Go, 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 go. Hey, suck it up. CFL football. Get in the game.
Hey, spaghetti.
Tiger Shark. One ride and you just might lose track of time.
Son? Dad! Whoa! Right on!
For this great offer in the dealer nearest you, call 1-800-5T-SHARK.
Hey, Dad. Where have you been?
The CFL Live on TSN is brought to you in part by Midas for new, longer-lasting carbon metallic brake pads.
Couple of big hits in the 4th quarter. Stampeders down to their last chance right now. There's time on the clock. Almost 3 minutes to go. Calgary faces 3rd and 10 at the Stampeder 40. Garcia stands in. He's poised. He's got the first down to Rogers. Joseph Rogers made the catch, and a clutch one. He didn't get the first down by much.
Well, he did. It was a good catch for one reason. After watching his teammates being pounded in the previous 2 plays, he went right into the middle of that defense and came up with a 3rd down grab, and that takes a tremendous amount of courage when you've just seen the hits laid out on your teammates.
1st and 10, Stampeders near the 51. Garcia takes off, and he's stopped a little short of the first down by Paul Randolph, but close enough to keep the drive rolling along. It'll be 2nd down and about a yard.
Yeah, and this is a short yard. Garcia has some options here. He had to give it to Kelvin Anderson when it was 2 yards for a first down just to make sure he picked it up previously in the drive, but this is about half a yard now. He has some options. He can maybe try for one over the top, then come back and get the first down on 3rd on the quarterback sneak.
Hey, don't sit on your helmet.
An injured Alouette, that's Steve Charbonneau, a newcomer from Cowansville, Quebec. Went to New Hampshire University in his rookie season. Quarterback, running back in high school. He's bulked up a bit.
Well, he was the Owls' 1st-round pick, and Steve Charbonneau does one thing for him. He gives him versatility on both sides of the football. He's listed in there as a D lineman and takes the majority of his reps at that spot, but he can also switch over and play the offensive side of the football.
Well, there's time for Jeff Garcia, but he has to hit the end zone twice to win the ball game. 2:34 to play. And Garcia is looking at 2nd down and a yard to go as soon as the injured Alouette is off the field. Blue Bombers trying to win. Under your pal, Jeff Reinbold, against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That's the Friday night matchup on TSN. Friday Night Football. Join us for that.
Well, one positive Jeff Reinbold must have is the game that he saw his team come back and get a lead against Montreal right here last week. So I'm sure there was some positive things on the tape there.
2nd and 1. Garcia looks deep, deep, deep. And I think he's picked off. Again, Anthony Drawhorn comes up with the football this time. Travis Moore, the intended receiver. I don't think I like the play.
Well, I don't think it was a ball that, I mean, it's easy to say now, but it definitely wasn't a ball that Jeff Garcia should have thrown. I mean, Anthony Drawhorn was in perfect coverage downfield. He knew he was just going to try and throw one up, see if something would happen, but Drawhorn turned around and looked at that one like it was a punt return. He was a teammate of mine in Saskatchewan, and talked about it last year when he played, but every meeting that he came into, this is what Drawhorn would say. If they throw that ball in my zone, that's pixies in a dance. Well, Drawhorn just got his pixies. I didn't see the dance. I'll have to talk to him about that after the game.
It was 2nd down and 1 to go Calgary, and Garcia is intercepted again. And that will be no more chances left for this guy today. 17 of 25, closing in on 200 yards in the second half. The touchdowns are there, but so are the interceptions.
Yeah, the 2 interceptions. And even though he played better in the second half, he just does not look comfortable to me in the pocket. Not like he's looked in the past, especially last year and the year before when he replaced Doug Flutie for half the season.
2nd and 8 Montreal. Tracy Ham still in there battling. He has a 13-point lead. Can't catch up with
throw it
Climby.
away. Throw it away.
Just bailed on it.
Well, that's one thing about Tracy Ham that coaches will tell you. He'll play smart all the time. I mean, Tracy Ham's not going to force anything. He's throwing from his own end zone. He's got a 2-touchdown lead. Throw that one out of bounds. Let the punting team come out there, kick it, put his defense back on the field. Good decision.
Well, with 1:47 to go, it's fairly comfortable right now for these guys.
You know, to expand on that Tracy Ham thought, since he's been in Baltimore/Montreal, he's been calling his own plays. And he seems to, if this is possible, with the amount of years he's been in the league, even matured more and become better mentally as a quarterback.
Coleman returning for Calgary. Hasn't had a big one tonight. Actually, there was one, but it was called back for a flag.
Seems like, you know, when I look at Tracy Ham, I mean, the Alouettes last season won more games than any other Montreal team in history. In fact, the last time the Montreal Alouettes had a winning season was back in 1979.
And Wally Buono was playing for them.
Wally Buono had a 39-yard punting average that year. Guess who the quarterback was? Joe Barnes. 11-4.
Garcia has gone. He's down to the 10-yard line with 1:29 to go.
Let's go.
Alouettes giving up.
Still hope.
Some yards there, a 23-yard gain.
There's still hope for Calgary fans. 1:29 left to go in the game.
Don't forget, though, they have to score 2 touchdowns.
Well, they have
in
to
that
get the
time.
ball back. There'll be one quick one here if they can get it in, and then the onside kick team comes back on.
Garcia looks for Vaughn. He's got him. Touchdown, Calgary behind Smith, and Garcia got nailed.
Garcia has taken some big hits tonight, and so have these receivers. If you remember early in this drive, Terry Vaughn took the huge hit from Torrey Hunter and has bounced back to make some big catches and give his team a chance. He just beat one of the best corners in the game in Irv Smith.
Irv Smith with an interception on the goal line earlier. What might have been for Calgary. But still, there is an opportunity here. They trail by 6, those Calgary Stampeders.
You know, Montreal, you see the pressure on Jeff Garcia's Montreal is sending that defensive line, and watch the hit he takes as he delivers the football. See Doug Peterson coming up the middle, right under the chin, and that's the second one today. You remember earlier in the game, he was checking how many teeth he had. Well, they must be a little bit more loose now.
So 1:17 on the clock. Stampeders trail by 6. Touchdown wins it for Calgary. What do you think the chances are? Got to get the ball back in a hurry, obviously. Short kick was tried earlier. It didn't quite work. So
last one,
they've rehearsed it once.
That's right. Last one, Mark McLaughlin just kicked it too far. He kicked it straight out of bounds. Now, Remember, on the onside kick, all you have to do is be the last person to touch it before it goes out of bounds, sort of like a volleyball tip drill as it gets to the sideline. What's going to happen now is Mark McLaughlin's going to try and kick this ball right in this area right here, nice and high. And all he has to do is hope that one of his receivers is going to get his hand on it and knock it out of bounds.
No surprises here. Stampeders have to get their hands on the ball. There it's up. And I'm not sure that anyone touched it along the line there. Pretty difficult to see from our vantage point. Climby was up. Did he get a mid on it?
I think that ball was kicked out of bounds again, both times. A little too far.
There is no infraction on the play. The ball was touched by Montreal. First down.
There you go.
We can see a good look at it. What happens is Montreal puts in what they call their hands team. Guys with the good hands out there on kick return, and Jock Climby, one of those guys, and all you have to do is tip it before it goes out of bounds.
He just brushed it, really, didn't he?
Yep.
So that's enough. Scraped it.
Yep.
So the Alouettes get the football. They have 1:17 to burn off the clock at Olympic Stadium. And that's how long they are away from their third victory of 1997. Play action fake by hand will take a few seconds off the clock himself before finding Pringle. Tracked down.
Eddie Davis made some good open field tackles, but the play was made to the play side. I believe it was by Ernie Brown, who cut Tracy Ham off. He tried to go with a little play action fake and get to the outside. Ernie Brown wasn't having any part of it, and the rest of that defense, including William Hampton, hustled down and pursued to get Mike Pringle.
Alouettes looking at 2nd and 9 and 49 seconds on the clock. Ham would like to get a first down here, then he could run the whole thing down. 41 seconds to go. He missed.
Oh, boy. Well,
Stampeders get an opportunity to touch it one more time.
They will have a turn at it. They're going to get probably about 36, 37 seconds left when they pick up this football on the punt return. Now remember, with Marvin Coleman back there and Terry Vaughn, right now they're just putting one back, probably going to try and send people to try and get the block here, but with Marvin Coleman back there, it's always that chance.
Coleman has returned 2 punts, 1 kickoff, and 1 missed field goal for touchdowns. Threw on Baker with some heat. Here's Coleman. Hasn't had a big one tonight. Maybe this is it. Out across the 25 to the 27 and tracked down by Alan Wetmore. 31 seconds for Jeff Garcia to work with. Stamps can win it with a converted touchdown. So it's down to this. How many plays can Garcia get in here?
You can get 5-6 plays in 31 seconds if you hurry. Get out over the ball right away. So there is time to put a drive together.
A 6-point ball game. Stampeders last gasp now. Garcia, first crack at it. Over the middle, he had Vaughn and couldn't make contact. Is it tipped away?
Well, I'll tell you what, Larry McSeed, who, in my opinion, is probably the defensive player of this football game, just distracted Terry Vaughn enough. He was dropped deep in the coverage, way back there running with Terry Vaughn, got his hand up and distracted him. He's been all over the place.
26 seconds to go. Stamps need a converted touchdown to win. They trail by 6. This is Garcia's second crack at it. As a man, it's Danielson. Might be a little shy of the first down with 18 seconds on the clock.
Well, this is a tough situation for Calgary. They need to get the first down, but they don't want to waste any more time. You see a quick quarterback sneak likely here just to get the first, and then Jeff Garcia's got to rack him up quickly, get him out on the line, and he's got to throw at least one of these plays down the field, 20, 30 yards.
Big finish on CFL Live tonight in Montreal. It was all Alouettes in the early going, and the Stampeders have scratched their way back into this thing. But time ticks away. 16 seconds remaining. It'll be first down Calgary. beginning at the 40-yard line now.
John, this is a bit of a break for the Stampeders because they had to change the football, either some sweat or something on the ball, and it gave Garcia a chance to call his play.
Ticking down is the time on the Stampeders. Garcia looks deep, looking for more. No markers. Tight coverage. Off a pad. Torrey Hunter was there. They're all playing center field back there now.
Travis Moore got up over top of Torrey Hunter, but just couldn't come up with the catch. You see right down here at the bottom of your screen, Torrey Hunter, who's played a pretty good football game as a rookie, comes in and just gets that right arm up in between Travis Moore's hands. That knocks the ball out.
One more crack at it for these Stampeders. 5 seconds unofficially on the clock.
This is called put everybody to one side, throw it up, hope for a penalty, or something miraculous to happen. And Montreal is about 30 yards deep right now.
Stampeder touchdown would tie it, and that would be a gift from heaven. He missed Moore, and zeros are on the clock. That's the old ball game. And Garcia started a little bit too late in Montreal tonight. There were other chances, like an interception on the goal line. There were field goals that had some potential.
Wow, Wally Guano now seeing the same thing happen to him again. He started too slow, missed opportunities, dropped interceptions early. You think back to the first play of the game when Marvin Coleman has a chance at the interception and drops it, and Dave Ritchie, on the other hand, had his team snuck back on him. I think Winnipeg last week came back on him. He ended up winning that game in the last-minute field goal, and then this week seemed to have this game in hand tonight and see Calgary sneak back to within a converted touchdown. So he's happy with the win, I'm sure, but will likely go into the locker room and tell his troops, we got to get a killer instinct.
Sneaking back to within a converted touchdown is maybe a pretty good way of saying things, because it was all Montreal until the final quarter, and Wally brought him back within 6, but close, not quite, enough this time.
Play Safeway's all-new $1 million touchdown to win for your chance to win $1 million. If your name appears, it means you have won Fill-A-Shave with reflex action. It adapts comfortably to the contours of your face. Closer contact for a closer shave. Fill-A-Shave from Philips, our closest shave ever. Or the Elna 10
TSN Turning Point.
Now back in the second quarter when the rookie, Torrey Hunter, fakes Jeff Garcia and slides underneath this pass for the interception. That leads to a Montreal touchdown. Guess what? They win by 6 points.
Stampeders got a slow start. The Alouettes are 3-0, 34-28 winners. A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of coaches in amateur sport on behalf of TSN. Dave Ritchie, a perfect record. Wally Buono back to the drawing board. That's the story of CFL Live from Montreal. In a moment, we'll talk to one of the game heroes, Tracy Ham, live from Montreal.
Well, I came into camp. I felt really good coming into camp. I got some good camp work. I was able to stay away from the injury bug early. You know, last year I hurt my back early. And anytime you do that, man, I tell you, it's a tough road trying to stay healthy. And you just try to get your body back in a position where you can compete week in and week out. But this year, I've been able to stay away from the injury bug, and I feel real good.
Tracy, it's Bob Obilovich here. You look like the young Tracy Ham of about 10 years ago tonight. One thing I wanted to ask you about it, last year in the Eastern Final, I felt that your football team didn't have a legitimate wideout to really make your offense that much better. And it looks like you might have a pretty good player there in young Marcus Wall who might be able to fit the bill out there.
I think you hit it on the head, Bob. People were able to close off things with Chris and Climby, and we weren't able to get the ball out wide. And I think Marcus showed tonight that he has some talent. He'll catch the ball, and he'll advance it upfield because he knows how to make people miss. And I thought he was a nice fit tonight. I thought he did some things we asked him to do. He did a good job on returning the ball, and he was a patient receiver tonight. He stayed where he's supposed to be, and I'm looking forward to getting some more work with Marcus.
Tracy, how discouraging is it for you guys to look in the crowd and see all the empty seats?
Well, I think the main thing for us now, Marty, is that we win ball games. I think the people who come out and watch us play, they're seeing good football, and we're just hoping the word will spread out there's a good football team here in town. And I think if we just continue to do our job, and that's win football games and not be distracted by the limited number of people in the crowd, I think eventually they'll come out.
Tracy, one last question. Les was alluding to it earlier in the week about the fact that, you know, late in the game in the fourth quarter, you don't seem to be keeping that same momentum that you've had throughout the game. Is this some little tendency that seems to be developing, or is it just the other team playing better?
Well, you know, it's hard to maintain that level of play for 60 minutes, but I think what we've been able to do is handle situations well, Bob. I think if we continue to handle the situation well down the stretch, and you know how this league is, most of the plays are ran the last 3 minutes, and that's where you win and lose ball games in this league. And I've learned that if you handle those situations right, you'll win some ball games, and we've been able to do that down the stretch.
Well, congratulations on a great start.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, Tracy, we talked at the start of the show about how you're a double threat to run and to pass, and you certainly showed that tonight. And congratulations to you and the Alouettes going to 3-0.
Well, we thank y'all very much.
Tracy was a lot of trouble for the Calgary Stampeders tonight, improving that way. Well, he certainly does add a lot to this team as they move on first place in the CFL East to tie with Toronto. A 6-point win tonight. CFL Live returns after this.
Give me a break, make it clean, make it cold. Give me a McCain iced tea break.
Take a refreshing break from summertime heat with frozen concentrated iced tea from McCain. McCain iced tea, caffeine-free, no powdery taste. A refreshing thirst-quenching beverage made with the essence of unique tea blends.
Give me a break, make it clean, make it cold.
McCain iced tea, no caffeine, no powdery taste. Great tasting refreshment down to a tea.
Oh, for... You know, if you don't take care of your car, you won't be seeing too much of summer. So get to Midas first. Right now, they'll give your car a lube oil and filter, inspect the cooling system, check all fluids, rotate your tires, set tire pressure, and check all lights, hoses, and belts. All for just $34.95. Plus, you'll get a free written inspection of your brakes. It's the way it should be. Midas. I think it's clearing up.
Come on, Dad. Time to get up.
I'm up.
I'll get the cereal.
Great. Thanks.
Do you also like this with your dad?
Rough it? Oh, yeah. Uh-oh.
What?
We forgot the milk.
I got an idea. I'll be right back. Hey, Mom!
Our best to you each morn. Well, anytime's great. Here we go. When it feels just right, we're gonna kick back, relax, watching football on a Friday night. It's Friday, and we're gonna...
Yeah, when it's Friday night this summer, we've got Friday night football for you. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Live on TSN, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. One of those teams looking to pick up their first win of the season. Actually, both of them will be. Tomorrow night, meanwhile, BC Lions already have their first win. The Edmonton Eskimos still without a loss. The Eskimos heading home, thanks in large part to Danny McManus, as we mentioned earlier, and one of his favorite targets, Darren Flutie, who spoke to our Gord Miller.
A CFL All-Star a year ago, and Darren Flutie and the Edmonton Eskimos off to another quick start. 2 wins on the road, and Danny McManus said that this team feels as confident as it was maybe in the middle of last year.
Yeah, I think we've picked up where we left off last year, offensively especially. To win 2 games in Calgary and in Regina, those are tough teams to beat at home. So we feel pretty good about that. We moved the ball well. We're just looking for some more points.
We talked about picking up where you left off last year, but where you left off last year was the Grey Cup loss. Does that still stick with you a little bit?
Oh, yeah. You always hear players say it doesn't matter if you get to the Grey Cup, you have to win it to have that good feeling. And that, it's so true. You go home with a loss, you might as well not even have been there. So it's a tough loss to take, but I think we do build on the confidence we had later in the season and through the first of the playoffs because we moved the ball well, and that wasn't the case early in the year last year.
When you talk to quarterbacks, they talk about that special communication they have with a receiver, and Doug would talk about a guy like Dave Sapunjas in Calgary, and Danny McManus talks about it with you here and with BC when you were there. Why is that? Why do you two have that, seems like almost unspoken ability to communicate?
Well, you know, you can't put a price on experience. We've played together for, what, 3 or 4 years now, and we've seen every coverage there is in the CFL. So when you come to the line and you see that coverage, you know what's going to work. You know the way I've reacted in the past. I know what Danny's going to look for, so you can fall back on that experience, and it helps.
And yet, not every group that's been together 3 or 4 years has that. I mean, just being around doesn't necessarily guarantee you'll have that, does it?
Well, no, not necessarily. You got to keep your eyes open, and you got to be intelligent about it. You have to experience it and then correct it. I mean, if you do it wrong the first time, you can't keep doing it wrong. You got to find a way to get open, and the same goes with the quarterback. So you have to be smart about it.
The last couple of years, the talk around here has been that the defense has carried this team, that the defense was the part of the Edmonton Eskimos that really led the way. But maybe this year with the changes that have happened on defense, that the offensive side of the ball has to step up and take more of the load. Do you believe that?
Well, I think we have to step up, definitely. I don't know about if we have to take more of the load or we have to win football games for this team, but we have to step up and play well. But if we're going to win a championship or go to the playoffs, defense is going to have to play well. That's never going to change.
And you're facing the BC Lions, your old team. Is that special for you, or after a year, is that not something that you look at anymore?
No, I think that's faded away with Coach Ritchie leaving BC and most of the guys that played with leaving BC. It's still good to see the guys you played with and won a great cup ring with. I mean, that experience is going to last forever, but I mean, that's faded away a little bit.
Thanks, Darren.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gord and Darren. Yeah, McManus to Flutie. Pretty dynamic so far with Edmonton, but also they had their days with BC. Now the dynamic player with the Lions, he's not a rookie, just seems like it. Al Shipman catches passes, but mainly returns kicks, and has done it so far this season very well.
For the last 2 years, Al Shipman has been quite simply the right man in the wrong place. In 1995, he signed as a free agent with Memphis. Shipman played 13 games, but the Mad Dogs folded after the season. In 96, he was taken by Edmonton in the dispersal draft, but the Eskimos had Gizmo Williams, and Shipman was released. He then went to Ottawa, was hurt in his first game with the Riders, and after the season, that team folded too.
Were there times where you're going, is this ever going to work out?
I mean, yeah and no. It was a rough offseason, but, you know, I just had to deal with it.
How about when Al Shipman takes over, like right here? And here's McCallum trying to run him down again. He's not going to get him this time. Shipman inside the 10-yard line.
What pinball has done for this league for the last 10 years and still doing for this league. And now you have another one to come around. And find him. He's in that same same room as the pinball. So that's a compliment.
I just don't feel like anyone can tackle me one-on-one.
Success in football, like any business, is a matter of timing. Back in '95 at Memphis, Shipman's offensive coordinator just happened to be Adam Rita, the same Adam Rita who had coached Rocket Ismail, Gizmo Williams, and Pinball Clements, and who also just happened to be the new head coach of the BC Lions.
You know, he's every bit as I expect him to be, and then a little bit more. And I know, and he knows that I know that he can even do more for us. And it's just a matter of staying healthy and staying fit mentally and physically.
So heading into week 3, Shipman leads the league in all-purpose yardage and kickoff returns, and is second in punt returns.
I would not mind being the all-purpose leader in the CFL this year.
Now on his 4th team in 3 seasons, Shipman is showing the rest of the CFL what he is capable of. And to say the least, it has been impressive. Finally, Al Shipman is in the right place at the right time. David Pratt, TSN, Vancouver.
All right, thank you, David. Al Shipman trying to return the Lions to glory where they were in '94 when they won the Grey Cup under Dave Ritchie. Marty, I thought it was interesting what Darren Flutie said earlier to Gord Miller. It doesn't feel the same rivalry with BC now that Ritchie is gone. It's nice to see Dave Ritchie landing on his feet as a head coach, winning head coach in Montreal.
And I think the early success has a lot to do with Dave Ritchie. I mean, let's face it, this guy is a CFL maven. He knows CFL football inside out, and I think Montreal can attribute a lot of their success to the fact that Dave Ritchie has been such an important part of the operation. It makes you wonder why in the world the BC Lions got rid of Dave Ritchie as a head coach in the first place. And, you know, at the time, the reason that we were given was that Dave Ritchie was not a good interview for the media, that he wasn't good quotes and that. Sure, you had a winning team, but he just didn't do anything to draw people to the stands because he wasn't good for interviews. Now
that's a bunch of crap, Marty. I'll tell you what.
What's a bunch of crap?
Just what you said.
No, wait a minute. Let's reset
right now,
that they fired him for that reason, or that happened.
No, that a guy gets the guy was a winning coach for 3 straight seasons at the BC Lions with the BC Lions and won the Grey Cup. How much more do you have to do to justify being a head coach? I mean, that was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever witnessed since I've been in the Canadian football league.
I agree with you, Bob. I think it was crap that they did that to him, but the fact remains, that's what happened. That's the reason that he's not back in BC. Now, you played for Dave Ritchie. Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, I tell you what, wherever Dave Ritchie goes, players want to follow him. And I'm not just talking about any players. Good players follow this man wherever he goes. And I don't know if it's because he's a player coach or he just knows how to win. I think it's the enthusiasm he brings, the winning ways that he has. But no matter what it is, he wins ball games. And to get back to what Marty was saying, and I hate agreeing with him at times, but Coach, he is telling you the truth. This man was fired because he was not quotable in the newspaper, and I think that is so much BS, because you should be able to win on the field, and that should be all. Just winning ball games should be all, but sometimes in this business, it doesn't work out that way.
Well, Obi, you coached for a long time in the CFL. Did you feel pressure to deal with the media in a certain way? Did you feel it was part of your job?
He obviously didn't.
I think you have to represent your football team and be a positive guy, and the media is a big part of being a head coach, dealing with them in a positive way. But I don't think you have to be a quotable guy or some really colorful guy or anything like that. I think Dave Ritchie has done all that you should have to do as a head coach. And if you want somebody to quote or something, then get Larry Smith or one of those guys in the front office to be talking to the media all the time and let him coach.
Coach, they had me there. They could have just had me in front.
Oh, we'd have really been
As the ultimate thing you put in quotes, how about the record? Dave Ritchie has that. Montreal with 3 wins, no losses to start the season. CFL Live returns after this.
CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by Advantage, providing solutions for business. And by Gatorade. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
Well, we were live and interactive as usual, and congratulations once again to our winner at QB1 tonight. Next game coming up on TSN. What a week ahead. We're just starting. Tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Eastern time. It is the BC Lions and Edmonton Eskimos Sports Desk coming up next with Teresa Cruz and Michael Landsberg. The final score once again from Olympic Stadium in Montreal. It was the Alouettes moving to 3-0, beating Calgary 34-28. From all of us here at CFL Live, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night. So long.
This is TSN.
Thursday, Roger Clemens and the Jays take on John Valentin and the